There we go.
All right, so where were we here? Okay. I think another, well, you had those, and we're going to identify the places and everything, but I think that they had a lot of well, I call it, jumping, everybody jumping at the same time, up to places that are going to make it difficult. There's no anchors for a lot of this. I mean, they're just like, everything is going up at the same time and not just a step or something, but one of them is they were all a fourth. What is it, between 7 and 8? Everybody's going up a fourth or something. It's like, oh my goodness. So yeah, a lot of that. Okay, let's see. So it leads to, some of those things lead to a lot of poor voice leading then, right? So we're gonna be in trouble with all of our parts. One of my favorite parts of the song is in measure 6, is the tenor line. The F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, C sharp. And everybody is, there's 3 parts, making big, like the 2 parts making an octave there, the bass and the baritone.
Parallel octaves, yeah.
Yeah, parallel octaves from the bum bum, and the tenor doing the same thing, and there's the lead coming down a third. Thank you for that. But yeah, that's quite to a baby grand. That's quite a little baritone line. The whole thing, that measure, is just kind of a disaster, isn't it? Yeah. So, all right. So tell us some of the other places that everyone, talk about what you had there, and then let's take a look at what you had, how you phase that.
Some weak bass notes as well, 5, 6, end of 11, with no good reason for it.
With what?
With no good reason.
Oh, the third double,
Yeah.
the
And
bass.
on
Yeah.
strong beats and not stepwise.
That's a very, very good point. Yes, and that they should almost always, on the beginning of a phrase, beginning of a measure, be on a strong beat, the strong note, like the on the tonic, and here they are on the third in measure 5 and measure 6. Yes, very good, very good. Let's take a look at that bass line for just a minute. What else do you see about the bass line?
And the final line is very jumpy. That would be very challenging for the bass, in addition to it being low the whole time anyway.
On where?
Like 10 and 11, it's a very jumpy bass line.
Yeah. The bass line in this whole thing reminds me of sort of like if you were playing timpani drums.
Yeah.
It sort of goes like bum 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 bum. There's not a, it has a few other things, but pretty much it's up a fifth, down a fifth, up a fifth, down a fifth, up a third, up a fifth. It's just like not much smooth voice leading for the basses, but just popping up and down. Let's see. How about chords? Were there some chord errors?
The final chords missing, final 2 chords are not good, missing notes.
Yeah, there's a note doubled there on the final chord, exactly.
Right.
Were there any
Right.
others that you thought that was perhaps not the implied harmony or wrong chord, I guess?
Well, the next to the last note is it's like an E minor, but it didn't put the top, it doubled the E. So it's a diminished chord, but not quite.
Yeah.
So it's a wrong in the on ain't been, those 2 chords you're talking about, right?
Been used.
Yeah. The ain't been is the wrong chord, isn't it? And the tenor should be on a D, shouldn't it? Do you see that?
Yes.
Does everybody see that? What the chord should be right there?
Not for the ain't chord. I just had the whole measure should pretty much be A7. So changing for variety is fine. The E minor looked okay. It was the next
Yeah,
one that
I
looked.
had ain't as an E minor, which I marked okay, but then the next chord where the bass goes to a B flat, I assumed they were meant to have a diminished chord there, but they didn't do it right.
Yeah.
So you would have the eighth chord then with the doubled E, is that?
Oh, no, I wouldn't. I'm reading what they did.
No, but I meant, but that's what I'm saying. What would you put in place of that or instead of that E for the ain't and the bin? What's the name of the chord is I guess what I'm trying to say.
Okay, what I did for the ain't, I made it a diminished chord with the bass on the E flat, and baritone on G flat, and tenor on the C. And then the next chord on Ben, I made it a D minor 6. Based on the D, baritone on the F, tenor on the B, and I've got I had that lead just hold that A across.
Yeah, well, that's another thing that's a good, I think that's a fine choice. Use, yeah, okay, so, but again, what did you name the chord on ain't? What would you say that it should be?
I did a diminished chord,
A diminished, and then what about bin?
a D minor 6.
Okay, anybody?
I put
did a
E minor.
diminished-
Sorry.
I did a diminished and then an A7 chord.
Okay, anybody else?
On ain't, I put an E minor 7. So like you said, Judy, I did put the D on the tenor. So I
Yeah.
made ain't into an E minor 7. And then the bin chord is just adding in that full diminished 7.
Okay. Anybody?
I went for 2 diminished on 8 bin and back to the Dom 7 unused.
You did the diminished on the, and what?
On
spell
8
that-
and bin.
Spell that chord for me from the bass up, would you, Emily, how you did?
And I changed the key for mine, so I can.
Confused.
I thought about doing that, but then I thought, well, that'd be too confusing to talk about. So I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Elizabeth.
Good choice.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi,
We're
I'm
glad,
so sorry I'm late.
well, it's probably forgiven, you know, we've all had troubles with different things, so. You
Thank
okay?
you. Yes, I am fine. My daughter's, you know what? My daughter's in a crisis. She's moving and I had to help her with something. So you know how that is? Your kid's crisis becomes yours.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, for sure, we never stop being parents, do we? There you go.
I must have drove 70 miles today already.
Oh, no.
Gosh,
Gosh.
yes.
Well, I'm sure that you'll be able to help her through a crisis.
Doing my best.
Of course you are. Okay, so now Emily was going to try and spell that chord for us.
Oh, probably incorrectly, but if we put the tenor on a D flat
Okay,
Mm.
for
And-
both ain't and Ben.
and would you have that, did you leave the A on for the lead, or did you leave it with the E?
I left the A on lead.
Okay,
I'm just trying to transpose in my head. E,
a G for the baritone then?
no,
No.
yes, hang on, just let me change this entire document to a different key. That'll make it easier for me.
That's all right.
Yes, Barry G, F sharp, G, and bass E, D sharp, E.
Okay, all right. Oh, yeah. wait,
So sorry, the tenor was C sharp.
C sharp, yeah, gotcha, okay.
B
I
sharp,
knew
B
it
sharp,
was-
or C sharp. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna take a look at what different ones, but I thought if we could just take a look at this, and I agree that where we had things, what about this big jumps between the bass and the baritone? That's a red flag, isn't it, right away? I mean, when you see that like in measure 1 and measure 2 and on down. Every time you see that big jump, that rarely will that work. You know, touching parts generally don't want to be more than an octave part, are they? So we know right away when we're doing rearranging something and we come up and we look at it, we go, oops, I don't want that to happen. I want to fix that. I want it to be, I need a better voicing, right? Good chord, bad voicing. That's just, I just call those are like red flags with them. Oh, here's Donna's up here. Look at Donna. Right there with the father has a business. So you, now this is the one that you fixed?
Right, and like I said, I know that all those spread chords are not what we're supposed to do, but having it in this key, I just didn't know how to fix it.
There you go. Well, it looks like you made some good choices, and other places just had you a little flummoxed, and that's
Right.
what we're
That's a good word.
Yeah, flummoxed. I was in our first group that Jean and I had, Act 1, when I was in my trip to Florida. I met with 2 of them that I'd never met before, only on Zoom. It was fun. I think I'm going to make it a purpose in my life to meet everybody that I've had on Zoom, and that would mean I get to go to Australia and New Zealand. So, but Jean was going to come down, but because of all her problems, she wasn't able to. But when I was meeting with them, we were saying a couple of words, and I said something about Larapin and something with the food, and of course they went, "What's that?" And I said, "Well, you know, it's a real word. My dad used to say it, and I thought he made it up, but it really is a word." So I'm sharing that along with flummoxed today. But Larapin means just fabulous, beyond good, beyond everything. Larapin, and it really is a word. So anyway, I have no idea why I said that, but okay. Anyway, so let's take a look here then and see. So Donna, tell us about this and tell us the places that you know you didn't really want that to go that way, but you couldn't think of something else. Let's talk about it in a minute.
Well, measure 1. I would like to have the baritone and the bass not so separate. And I know some of you talk about these are too low for your choruses and your basses can't sing that low anyway. In my chorus, our basses can't go high. So they're better on the low notes than the high notes. So I didn't, I thought about doing an octave jump there in measure 1, start the bass on that low D and then take them up to the next higher D. But I figured that would put them on the same note with the lead on the word has. So I didn't think that would be good.
Well, I think we all agree that the D is a poor choice for a key, right?
Right.
And that would help us right off the top, wouldn't it?
Right.
But then to do
Hopefully.
that, that if it weren't, then you would have probably chosen to maybe to take that tenor down underneath the lead, possibly, if it weren't such an already low looking
Right.
chord.
Right. Yes.
And then you took the business and you revoiced it, which seems like a better choice than the other one, and it didn't have everybody all jumping up there. And the strictly secondhand, so you tried to avoid it with the A on the tenor, and then once again, then we had the big leap, didn't we?
Right. We have the big leap, and then
but you had some anchor with it. You kept the baritone there, so they didn't move up, right? So that was somewhat of a help, but we were still in trouble because of this ranging melody. So in some cases, it was not going to be easy to find a good solution, but it looks to me like you made some good choices to try and do it of a really kind of untenable situation, right? In this key. And
then we got to measure 3, and again, I would have put the bass up on the higher D, but when you get to the 3rd note, then that's where the melody is, and so I had to take them.
Yeah, I think you have a typo in 3. That first note in the lead is supposed to be a D. I think it's just a typo there, right?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, you didn't mean to change the melody. I was pretty sure when I looked.
No, I didn't. Okay. Yeah, I didn't see
So-
that. Okay.
So you made a everything on the thing, then you got everything. And once again, either way we looked at it, what's happening with it, Jean? It's just not your best day, is it, hon? I understand. She's the finale queen. If it doesn't work for her, we're all sunk. So here's the other problem that we have here is now she fixed it actually by having the baritone sing F sharp to F natural, because in the original, it went from F sharp for the baritones to F natural for the basses, and basses really don't play nicely like that. They don't like that at all. And then she have another problem here because we have an awkward leap for a bass line, right?
Right.
Yeah. So given what Donna has here, does anybody have a thought on how she might have fixed that?
I did the same thing.
Did you do this? Yeah, we're all trying to, how do we fix this problem?
Forgive me, but I'm still disoriented. Can you tell me where you are?
Oh,
Where in the
measure
music
three.
are we?
We're in measure 3 right now.
Measure 3.
On the one on the screen, which, what about that tenor line? If you think everything from that's a really awkward, down a half step, up a whole step, that's a problem. I mean, the bass line's a problem. Anybody have an idea of what?
I just put the bass on the A through that, so it'd be a smoother line. But that's totally different, so.
Make
Okay,
it D7s? How did you?
Same
Oh, no,
chords,
no,
but
I
just the
understand.
bass,
Okay,
bass
okay,
on the
I got it.
5.
Okay.
just looking through here. Okay, let's leave this one a bit when we come up. There's, okay, you brought Abigail's up there. So Abigail chose to. Oh, she's gonna play something. Okay. Very inventive, Abigail. Yeah.
Is inventive a good thing? Sounds like a
Oh, no, it is. It is a very
polite way
good.
of saying.
No, it's very cool. I just would somehow, that
Yeah, that tenor's way up high, but
no, it's not up high. No,
Mm.
that's fine. It's just, I'm just saying, it has a kind of a cool deal. The bass and everything from to, you kind of want it to go to G, don't you? And so maybe the first chord on tooth could be a G, that G, or the, just the triad chord, and then and maybe the next one goes to the
oh, yep, to change
the
the
E
chord.
minor. I'm just thinking, looking at what you, because you did a cool deal there, everything from to, right? If that went to G, then what would happen to the rest of it? I'm just talking, oh, timeout, Jean says.
Oh, you're on
Melodies.
mute. Jean, you're on mute.
We can't
Jean,
hear
you're
you.
on mute. Unless it's-
Sorry. So anyway, I noticed that Abby's baseline was what Donna's tenor line was on on hers.
Right.
That you said, oh wait, what, that's hard to sing. Maybe basses can handle that better. I don't know. Anyway, I just noticed that, and I was like, oh wait.
Okay.
Okay, so you want toothpicks to be a G, right?
Well, I'm just saying, let's problem solve this. It seems to me, it wants to go everything from toothpicks, doesn't it, for baseline?
Yeah.
The leads,
Everything from toothpicks, I mean, that, yeah.
Yeah.
So what are we gonna do with the rest of it?
the leads on the G.
Then yeah. So then what?
What if you made that tooth chord a G, just a G minor triad? And put the-
Okay. What do you want the baritone note to be?
Yeah, something like a D, maybe that's good.
Let's see, E, G. We need a B in there somewhere.
We need a D on the baritone and a B flat on the tenor.
What do you want on the tenor?
On tooth, make it a B flat. Just,
How about picks? Same thing?
and then picks, make that the B flat on the bass,
Oh.
so
Okay.
that toothpicks, so that we get to the E minor 7. So we just had a transition chord. I'm just trying to see if that's gonna work. I have no idea. I'm just guessing.
B flat, you said?
Yeah, no, leave the baritone and the, yeah, there you go, B flat for the bass. There.
For the bass. Okay. Like that?
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, let's see.
Well, yeah, that was good. The tooth chord didn't seem right, but I was just trying to think of some way maybe I should play it on the keyboard, but okay, so that we have some interesting things going on there. You stopped some things and some things didn't. I wish that we'd somehow just ask you to put the whole thing in E flat, everybody. We'd have had much more success, wouldn't we? And I think so you did.
I would keep the E minor 7 there and go to A7 on picks. Would that do anything? But then I don't know where it goes next.
But with the B flat, that makes it a G minor chord, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's actually a G minor chord
Well, yeah, that's what she was suggesting, but
with
is
the
that-
B flat. Should be B natural if it's an E minor 7.
oh yeah, I was just going by what Judy was saying. I'm gonna just
Yeah.
undo. I'm gonna undo what she suggested and see if it'll go back to what it was. Come back, come back. Oh, it's just spinning round and round.
That wasn't the right thing to do, but
Yeah, she was just trying to come up with some options.
Yeah.
There we go.
okay,
So-
let's see that for a second because I had yeah, that wasn't a good idea at all. Okay, so let's look at your To a Baby Grand for a second there, Abigail. When you got it seems, can you play that one? Jean,
Sure.
To a Baby
I'm
Grand?
gonna, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Actually, that putting that G on there with that chord was a little kind of not too bad. Was it on tooth now?
Right, yeah.
Wasn't too bad. I'm a little concerned about the business chord and the second hand, the hand, because really those need to be A minor, don't they? Or A, I mean A, yeah, A.
That part? Was that the measure you were talking about?
Yeah, yeah. The root, the chord is is not an F sharp, but an A, isn't it?
Yeah, the implied harmony is A7.
Yeah, the
Oh,
A, yeah, this,
Ah,
yeah. Anyway, let's take we'll come back and see what everybody else has there. In your Baby Grand there, I think you had a nice little thing there, if you maybe took the bay and and brought the G sharp down, the.
Which part? Which
no, I'm
part?
just looking at to,
Oh, change baritone and tenor on B grand.
yeah,
Swap tenor and baritone, so
Okay.
everything's higher.
Yeah.
So yeah, to baby grand. So if the tenor
Oh.
went down to on the bay and
Well, I was going by what she was, let's try what she was suggesting. I don't know.
what she just said, yeah, what she said. Oh, is that what you said? I'm sorry. There we go. I didn't catch it.
Ah, shoot, go away, go away. There we go. Oh, then you're gonna have a little bit of cross
You
voicing.
have to swap grand as well then.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
And then the tenor, you still haven't put the tenor on B, baby.
Oh, okay. A,
So D to
B,
G.
Doesn't the G sharp start on the bay, not on the B? It's baby, babe, isn't it? Because that's an E7 chord.
Yeah. Okay, wait.
So what problem are you fixing here?
I'm trying to fix the last chord. What was I supposed to do here with the?
No, but I mean, overall,
What's missing?
what's
C?
the purpose of switching the baritone and the tenor?
For smoother voice leading. For one thing.
So now the bass is too far from, is a divorced bass, so that's probably why I didn't do that.
Right,
that's-
Actually, if we look at the original that they sent us, the G, that chord, those chords to a baby worked fine. It's just that the last chord needed to be fixed, didn't it?
Oh, there
Right.
was a cross relationship.
You've got a cross relationship there.
Right, but I mean, what I'm saying is that to a baby, it was fine, but the grand chord was wrong. Do you follow what I'm saying? When Jean gets off the phone, we'll go to that one in a minute and see.
Right.
To a baby grand, if the tenor's saying the G and the leads there, and then the baritone saying the C sharp, we'd had a fine. So I don't think that measure needed to, because what we didn't solve anything, Abigail, with that one is we put an octave and a third above for everybody, for the whole measure.
Mhm.
I think it may not be. It's an interesting. You basically swap the tenor and the baritone, which sometimes we do that. Jean, can you pull up the original one? The To a Baby Grand.
So you're saying
Yeah,
you'd
right
have
there.
the,
So yeah, so if you just on this one simply swap on that very one. Whoops, where do you go here? Yeah, there you go. To a baby, to a baby. So to a baby grand. Yeah. Well, there you go. That fixed it, didn't it? Right there. Do you see it? Does everybody see that? Then you don't have the cross relationship because the tenor took the G sharp, and you have a nice major second there for the tenor lead. Do you all see that? That's a good fix for that? So in other words, we're trying sometimes, and this is part of the fun and the scary part of this is to fix one thing. Sometimes we want to fix the whole measure, and and maybe it's just there's only one part of that we needed to fix. And this one again from. Okay, so let's go back to what. Let's go back to Abigail's and we didn't finish with Donna's either, did we? So anyway, can you go back to, there you go.
Yeah, probably because in the previous measure, then it would have been the way I rearranged the previous measure, it would have been too big a jump down for the tenor. And
Oh,
if I was just like changing the measures one at a time, I would have probably done that, but I wouldn't go from that tenor D down to a G probably. Anyway,
yeah. Well, and right, so let's do stem and part came closer. Even things I'm wearing. So, and so now, good. Let's look at her. Okay, good. Stop right there. Because there you fixed the problem, didn't you? Everything I'm wearing that went way up high and you brought it down so it made for nice voice leading. That was a very, very good choice for, and that someone, good. And I think that, I think that works. I think that works. Does anybody want to comment on that? You're being awfully well behaved.
I did mine just like she did.
good job, Donna.
I think that was a good choice. There could be some other choices, but definitely the problem that we were seeing was from wearing was everybody went up a fourth up to some and fix that nicely by simply revoicing it. And the war, you simply revoiced it and revoiced the A7 chord or A7 chord on the last note, which before they had the wrong chord, didn't they? Before needed that, that this is a better choice, I guess, of voicing, etc. Right? And okay, so then it's no wonder. Now we're going to go from. All right, it's no wonder that I feel abused. Okay.
Right here, I'll start here.
If I just ask a question about the implied harmony,
Go
in
ahead.
terms of the final chord on bar 7,
Yeah,
the
right.
F sharp 7, was that in the original implied harmony that it would move to a Dom 7 there or stay in the F sharp minor?
Oh, let's see. Let's go back and look. I think it needs the A sharp itself.
Are you talking the end of measure 7? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, just in the original
Yeah. See, it was
original
like
sheet
that.
music.
Yep. In the original, it did go from A to A sharp.
I don't mean the original arrangement. I mean the implied harmony in the original sheet music.
Oh, well, now that I don't know. Did it have the sheet music here too?
I've got it here.
Yes.
Yeah, it stays in the minor.
B minor. Yep.
It
Ah,
stays in the minor.
yes, but here's a perfect place to make it sound more barbershoppy by putting that A sharp in there.
Okay.
So that's why that was done.
How do you know when to do that?
Right,
Other
exactly.
than experience,
Yeah.
because I've been accused before of excessively Dom 70 arrangements.
Ah.
How do you? And on this one, it didn't sound right to my ears. So how do you know other than years of experience?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think my ear just hears that. Yeah. Let's see. I don't have a good answer for that, other than I listen
And
to all kinds of
if you
barbershop.
didn't hear that and you didn't have it, it isn't wrong.
Yeah, it's just a different
It's a
way.
choice. It's a
That's
choice.
great.
It's
That's
not a bad, it isn't like you changed the melody. You changed it, even things I'm wearing some, made a transition chord, I call it.
Yes.
That was, yeah, that it didn't have to be there or not. I do that. I fight with that all the time. Emily, it's like going, well, I hear this, but I don't think that's what, that
Yeah.
wasn't where it came from. But if it works and pretty soon you hear it, it starts to feel like, yeah, that's an okay choice, because the other one sounded kind of blah or something.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's a right or a wrong on that one. I think it's just a preference.
That's very true.
Yeah.
But I think this arrangement has the A sharp there to make it more barbershoppy in that spot.
Yeah,
Oh dear.
it's simply a barbershop deal. But whatever. So Okay, so let's take a look at, so what was the problem with measure 9 that we were looking at? Is that-
Wait, before you go on, measure 8, if I looked at it right, where it says someone wore before in the original sheet music, that's an E chord, which would be a B chord for us in our key.
what are you talking about? I'm sorry.
On the word someone wore before in the original piano sheet music that we got, it's an E, G sharp, B chord. And so that's an E chord, and that translating to the key we're in would make it a B chord.
It is a B chord, is it?
Okay, I thought somebody said it was a different, so somebody said whether we put a D chord there. Okay, all right, we're good.
Yeah, no, I think it just, this is a revoicing that this particular, we're looking at Jean's on. This is actually a corrected version that they suggested. And so she's busy there. So let's see if we're looking at that. I can't change the screen right now.
Judy,
Yes.
I'm sorry. Can we please just revisit the concept of keeping that last chord in measure 7 to an F sharp dom as opposed to minor? Because if you change it to the major, then you're asking the tenors to go up 1/2 note there, and then they have, in the next measure, they have to come back down to the A, and then the following note they're moving to a B. So you're getting that same real chromatic movement as you talked about before in measure 3 with everything from Toothpicks, right? Aren't you? The same kind of, the tiny chromatic movement,
I think I understand.
with everything from Toothpicks for the tenors up in measure 3.
Yeah.
Do you recall we were talking about forcing the
recall.
tenors to do that funky move there?
I do.
Well, if you sharp that last chord in measure 7, you're now asking the tenors to go, wearing someone, right? Aren't you asking them to do another funky move there?
Okay. Let me see. We went down in everything from Toothpicks. The way it is on this music is going from A to A flat up to B natural. Everything from Toothpicks. That's a little awkward. It's going down, then going up a step and a half, right? And this one is what we're
Right.
looking at right now is the
Right.
tenors are going da, 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 da. It's not a real awkward thing. They're kind of going up and down stair steps. Da, 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 da. Yeah, it's
Okay. I see. Okay.
and
I
you
think-
know
I think
It's
it's because the semitones are okay, but the A flat to a B, it looks like it's a step, but it actually sounds like a minor third. So that's what makes it hard, not tiny steps. It's that it's an augmented second, which is really difficult to
that's
figure
exactly
around.
that's why I said a step and a half. That is that's not an easy thing to do. So let's see. Yeah, this that sounds like it sounds like one of those a cobra thing, where they're wanting it to dance out of this bag. That so the other one was going. That's odd enough, but it isn't. That's the one that's really hard to hear. That up, as you said, an augmented second, or yes, right, a step and a half. Not the favorite for anything, but we're not a place where we're going to get a lot of favorites here. But
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Not that we don't do them sometimes. If we can avoid them, we do, right? It isn't
Mhm.
that it's an absolute, you cannot ever do it. I don't know if you've heard this story, but when I was first starting out, and there was a person called Sylvia Sylvia Alsbury, who was one of the kind of the mothers of arranging in Sweet Adelines, and I was taking a class from her, and she literally stomped her foot and said, "Never, never, never put the bases on a seventh. Never, never, never put the bases on a seventh." I've been thinking my whole life, it's like it keeps thumping in my ear. It's like, oh my God, I put the bases on a seventh. But once again, it's not a place we're going to go very often, but sometimes in a moving part, if it happened in that in between thing and you're not holding it, we might put the bases on a seventh. And actually, we do put the bases on a seventh occasionally. It's not for the long term and for the held notes or for the downbeats or the, or that kind of chord, but you will have occasion where you can use them. But like I say, I always say there's not rules, there's guidelines. We have guidelines. Sometimes we just have to know that in general, this wouldn't be the best idea we had to give the tenors like an up, go up that augmented second, but nor to put the basses on a seventh. However, sometimes we have to make those choices, but keeping in mind what the saying says, you have to know the rules before you can break them. Well, in our case, you have to know the guidelines before you can bend them. Yeah. So if we're aware that we just did something and that's the best choice we had, then we make it. In this case, we don't have to make some of those things. We're kind of frozen here until Jean can come back. I think y'all know Jean's mother is like, what is she, 96, 97, something like that. And she seems to be having more and more difficulties, and bless her heart. She lives with Jean. And so someone has to be there, pretty much 24/7. And then she said her mother likes to sleep in the daytime and be up all night. Kind of. So I think Jean's a little worn out, very worn out. And so.
Okay. Okay, so may I ask another question? Okay, so
Yes.
we're putting in measure 8, we're putting the baritones on the D sharp and D naturals.
Yeah.
No, we're putting, yes, okay, all right. So, but then would it be, so the tenor then, because that's not how I have it, so I'm trying to transpose this back and forth. So the tenor then, I just don't like the bass jumping down from the B to the E and right back up. Because I have the bass just staying on the B's all straight across.
Yeah, and it isn't so much that da 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 da. If the bass went someplace, it can jump down, but da 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 da. It looks like a ping pong or like a trampoline, then there's probably a problem with that bass line, isn't there?
I
So,
would think so.
and if we're looking now, right now, what they did with this. That maybe another choice that isn't on here on the answer sheet would have been to put the bass on the A and before, and the tenor on the, on the C sharp and the baritone on the G, which creates other voicing problems. So you pick your poison, so to speak. If you look at the original music that we were looking at to make corrections on, they simply took, and I think that's what they were trying to show us, is that if you see someone war before, to avoid that war problem with the octave and a third on war in the original, right? You simply switched out the baritone and the tenor and you had a better outcome. And if we can just learn from that sometimes when we switch out the baritone and the tenor, you had a better outcome. I can't show, but you can look at it.
And Judy, about the jumps, like I know it's hard for basses to do fast jumps, but still, like I'm just looking at my solution and I had the tenor jump. So it's actually probably easier for the bass to jump than for the tenor. Is that correct? Like if you're choosing between one of them jumping, the jump would be more appropriate in the bass. Is that usually true?
It depends on what the jump is.
Okay.
Basses, basses, if it's a fifth or a fourth or whatever like that, that's what basses kind of live in fifths and fourths, don't they?
So measure 8, even though it's jumpy, it's still appropriate, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, and so yeah, and I don't have yours in front because I was going to
Well, I had
count.
the same as Donna. I just looked. I had B's right through measure 8, but then my tenor jumped. So maybe this one is better actually, the solution, because a tenor can jump a fourth, but it's not normal. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's others. Well, we can't work with those right now. There are other choices to make. For instance, if you look at it right now on measure 8, it could go easily. The tenor could go. Let's see. Tenor could go up there, and the baritone could go up and right there on B. Someone wore B, and on the B, make the baritone on the tritone, which they can do, and the tenor on the D, and then make that the tenor singing the C sharp, and the baritone singing the G, and the bass on the A. I can't show you right now because I don't have control of the screen, but it would sound like this. That would be another choice to do, and that would keep the tenor from, yeah, it could work. That could work. It depends on what you think is best, and that would then the bass would be someone more before, which some people are going to go like, oh, that's too hard. I'm going, no, it's not. Someone more before, and then then you have the next problem. It's no wonder, because that's where they're going to need to go. So then that's maybe not the best choice. But again, we choose something that is the best we can do with it. And maybe this is the best choice we have. It's no wonder that I feel, dang, I wish you were here to put that other one up there. The big problem in the music that we had on 9 was that the baritone and the bass again were over an octave apart, and that this whole thing is, if at all possible, it's one of the places you most want to not have. And I saw that, I think Abigail's, I was looking at yours, and I think Donna's was too, that you had a lot still of that
Right,
you know,
I did.
if at all possible, that's one of the things we want to fix. To put that there, it's hard to tune. It sounds hollow when you're that far apart. With maybe sometimes with for attention or for a dramatic effect, you might want to have that. But in general, in a phrase that's going to move along, it's no wonder that I feel you would want to try to avoid having more than an octave between those sister parts, like the bass, the baritone.
Oh,
or the,
so Judy, are you saying that even if the baritone's above the lead, because I was doing, as long as the lead and the bass were within an octave, it should still sound okay. But are you saying it's still best not to have the bass and baritone more than an octave apart, even if the baritone's above the lead? Is that what you're saying?
I may have not. Say that again. I'm sorry.
Okay, are you saying, I'm trying to understand what you're saying, that it still sounds relatively divorced bass if the baritone's too far away, even if the lead is within an octave of the bass?
Okay, well, that's another thing, but that's not happening here.
Okay, sorry, what were you saying was happening there?
On the original that we were supposed to identify the problems, it's on Wonder, that the baritone
Yes.
was on the octave and the third, and the lead
Yep.
was up again, and the tenor was up. That's what I'm
Yes,
saying. That's the
yes.
divorced bass.
Yeah, okay.
There could be an instance, and we'll probably come across one. if the melody went down, do you know, and then you had like the melody, the bass and the baritone, for instance, or I'm sorry, the lead and the bass were an octave apart, and the baritone was above that, then that's a different ball game. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Totally. Yeah, thank you for asking that question, but I'd forgotten that term. It's such a lovely thing, the divorced bass. Isn't it funny that they don't call it a divorced baritone? It's only a bass.
Yeah.
So I bet we better not take a poll. We could get in trouble on that one. So, but yeah, and we have it now. On the original thing in measure 11, never had a thing. There you have the bear, what you were talking about. Yeah, that what we got, let's see. So it filled in, the bass filled it in so it didn't sound hollow. I think that's it sounds hollow when there's a whole big thing left, and we can't see there. I can't move it up. She can't move it up, but so if we have, yeah, trying to find out, I never had a thing. There's and again, there's we'll have to wait to see what it is. But as you can see on the original music that we had, never had a thing. There was no reason to send the tenors up to D and the baritones up to G sharp when you could simply switch those parts. The baritone and the tenor in measure 11. So that you have I net, the baritone, tenors go up a half step, and the baritones go up a third. Do you see what I'm saying? I can't show you on here, but if measure 10, the last chord there being that nice little closed voice thing, and then the next chord, simply switch the baritone and the tenor, and you got the problem solved, don't you? And then continue it. The baritone or the tenor stays on that. Never had a thing. Yeah, never had a, and so the baritone and the tenor there, and then when it gets the thing, they're right there, right? So that solved the problem. I'd say more than 50% of the time, the problem is that you may have the right chord and the wrong voicing, and another 50% of that time is the tenor and the baritone are flip-flopped. Sometimes it's another couple parts, but I wanted to make sure that we got that. Sorry, we don't have it on the screen, but if you're looking at your music, you can see that you don't want to have a thing. I never had a thing that he, tenors don't trampoline well at all. They're not good trampoliners, right? Basses are, but we don't. And the baritones, yeah, I love that one. I never had. I never. Yeah, that's immediately we're going like all parts moving parallel is often a problem, very much a problem. All parts moving parallel with two parts leaping up on a tall building is even worse. Yeah.
Judy, can I ask, you mentioned about one possible solution had the baritone doing a tritone. Would you say that baritone on tritone would be acceptable, like not total last resort? Would you mentioned like I wouldn't put it in another part, but would you?
Baritones are generally pretty good with tritones, right?
Okay, so you're not,
because they're harmony singers all the time, and they hear things that the rest of us don't know what they are. I mean, a baritone sings a part that simply they have to be in their own world. Whereas a bass it doesn't do it because the bass sings tonic, dominant. I mean, basically 1-5, 1-4-5 kind of things, and occasionally on a third, and occasionally, somewhere, but mostly.
So would you have a baritone avoid? Like, would you still avoid it if possible, or would you generally have that
avoid
as
it if possible?
You still
would always avoid a tritone if they're
Okay.
a better choice.
Okay.
But if you have to give a tritone to somebody, it better be a baritone, because unless you have a swipe, as Liz showed us in her thing that time, when you're swiping up, swiping or sliding up is another thing, because it's not like I have to go boom, boom, you know, it's boom. You
Yeah.
slide it, swipe up to it. So then, yeah, all that stuff goes away. But yes, definitely, if you can avoid it, you do, but if not, sometimes that's what you have to do. But in these situations, there's almost always a better choice, unless you have some real cool voicing that you wanted to do that that required doing that, then by all means, you know, baritones kind of sometimes can relish that whole thing, I think.
So in the end of that measure on ain't been, would you keep the notes like they were on the original piece? What did you do with ain't been?
Oh, at the very end of the piece? I think that you said
yeah.
it, or somebody said it in the first, oh, that's another thing.
No, in measure 11, the last two notes in measure 11.
That ain't, well, what do you think? What would you do? What else would you do with that?
I just kept the tenor on the G sharp all the way across that whole measure. And I've got
And
the
then-
baritone on it.
As soon as we get a chance, we'll look at that on the screen, and then we'll take a look at that. This is a problem, because that ain't been on that music. Everybody moves up, and then everybody moves up again. When everybody is moving up in the same direction, you have a chance for it's very hard to keep everything in difficult to find and to tune it into everything that ain't been. It's like, man, that's a tough assignment. Not to mention that bin makes the baritone of the leader touching tones that ain't been, after we've just been moving this. And all of a sudden it's like, you have to nail that, and it's like, that's tough, right? Yeah. So that there are better choices there. And as soon as we get Jean back here, we'll look and see what you did with some of those. But yeah, there was no sense to go up to that thing. Let's talk about used for a minute. I know a couple of you did this anyway, but when used, I mean, let the melody go. We have to always remember, whatever the chords are doing, that we have a melody line, and whoever is singing it, we don't want to divorce them from the melody. So I never had a thing that had been used. Let everybody else do da, 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 or whatever, right? Used, ain't been used. I mean, that's not a melody. That's what they have on here. I never had a thing that ain't been used, ain't been used. Oh my goodness.
Sounds like a baritone.
Yeah, that's right. We just threw away the melody there. So make the post be whoever's singing that, if it's mostly the lead, could be the bass sometimes. Hold that note and let everybody else do the fluff around it, right? Fluff. I don't know, I've ever used that before, but it just came to me, fluff. You know, I had a little cute story when years and years ago, we did an Irving Berlin show, and there's a place where someone said, oh, and I love, you know, Irving Berlin's music. It's like, and like, especially my favorite was, you know, God, and she sings, God bless America. and they're going, and the other girl says, that's not God bless America. And she said, it is if you're a baritone. And it was a great moment. And I don't know that many in the audience got it, but all the barbershoppers did. Isn't that great? So, I mean, the baritones we don't care, tritone, whatever. We sing a harmony part. God bless America. And I've always thought about it. Every time I hear that, I want to go, it is if you're a baritone. So if you give them something strange, they're fine. They like it. They do it. Anyway. So, dang, Jean, I wish I could take the screen back, but I don't, oh, wait. You
Can I
got-
ask a question just while we can't see the
Yeah.
bottom bit? just about overall, so looking at the corrected version, there are a lot of things that have been done that really smooth out voice leading, but do cause that crossover between tenor and lead with a high frequency, which
Right.
overall would weaken the arrangement because you've got fewer easily ringable chords. So they're good solutions in the moment, but then we end up with an overall arrangement that has problems. And I know many a judge that would go, absolutely don't do that chart.
And you are so right. And even, even if we brought it up a half step, bringing up a half step might help it, but there could still be problems again. That's going to be a problem thing to do, isn't it? So probably would not want to make this as a good choice to do. But I agree with you 100%. Unless you have a tenor section that can ring it, or a quartet could ring those, but that's going to be hard with all of those major seconds and all those times. When you put that many times the tenor below the lead, you have to stop and go, maybe there were some better choices. Occasionally you would do that, but not as an over, not a lot of the time. I do notice that up at the top, Father had a business, and once again came up with the bass. Father had a business, strictly second hand. Where is it? Father had a business, strictly second hand. Father had a business. That sounds more bassy, doesn't it? It's very, very much into the singing, into that implied harmony, by keeping that A chord, or that what am I doing here? F sharp minor doubling the third, right? Am I doing this right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to see. Yeah, the third, and then,
But it's not the relative minor there, so why would you double the third?
it's the F sharp minor chord, right?
Right.
Mm.
But it's not the relative minor. Are we in, isn't it a D? Is the implied harmony there in that measure?
Not on business. The business
you-
chord, the business chord,
Right, okay, so why wouldn't you want the bass on the F sharp then? If it's an F sharp minor and it's not the relative minor, isn't the general rule then that the bass should be on the root?
Donna,
Yes.
are you thinking of the relative minor of the key of the song, or of the chord,
Oh, no.
or the chord that you want there?
No. I'm thinking, it's not the relative minor of D, so therefore
Right.
it's an F sharp minor chord, so the bass should be on the root. Am I wrong about that? Is that not sort of?
But it's the relative minor of the A chord, right? Isn't it? Isn't that the concept, Judy? That it's the relative minor of the implied chord. Correct?
excuse
Not
me.
of the song itself, right?
No, it's not the song itself. Yeah,
Not the
right.
song, but we don't have an A chord in this measure. So why would it be considered an implied, a relative minor?
I don't know where, I guess that comes into play, a relative minor in this. The chord is an F sharp minor chord, right?
Right,
Mm.
Yeah.
yes.
So, an F sharp minor chord, in a minor chord, oftentimes you double the third. So the problem that they had in what they did there was they doubled the third, but they made it the whole voice leading thing was wrong. So Father had a business to keep it not jumping up to that chord and up there, but to keep it in more in a line this way. And again, it would sound a whole lot better in up a half step but it's that the chord is voiced weakly because it has a feeling of that strong F sharp, because the lead is on it, right? But the rest of the chord goes with it. But when you put the big octave of the A, you lost the F sharp. It didn't matter what the lead did, right? The big A octave there between the bass and the baritone just screams at you when you play it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right. I just don't understand why you, the way that I'm looking at the screen now, I don't understand why the bass wouldn't be on the F sharp. That's what I'm asking. Rather than the A. If it's an F sharp minor chord, why wouldn't the bass be on the F sharp?
Because it's a better choice, excuse me, to put it on the A.
And why, sorry, why is it a better choice? Oh, because it's more of a bass, a strong bass.
It has a
Move?
it has a flow to it that is let's see. Everything is not it just doesn't have, I don't know, it sounds dead.
It does sound like a strong bass line, I agree. Like D to A sounds a lot more close to the implied harmony.
And
Yeah.
because the thing, so it's we have to try and go up to follow a little bit of that instead of the bass taking over the thing. It has a lift to it. Sometimes there's a reason why we double that third, and that keeps it father as a business, second hand. I don't know. It just I don't even know how to tell you, except that to me it has a dead sound. I don't think it's wrong if that's what your tells you, but I think we have to, there's a kind of a flow, a bit of the flow of the line of the melody line to follow too. That it either should go this way or it should go with it. If we're going to go contrary, and there's not really a contrary motion going on here, but it's a good question, and I don't think I've answered it very well. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm remembering something, and Donna, I did the same thing as you. I doubled the root, so I'm with you on that. I seem to remember reading something about if a minor chord is a substitute for a major, then you probably should emphasize that major. So in this case, this F sharp is a substitute for A major, A7, whatever. So you're emphasizing the A quality of it. I don't know if I really believe that. But
Emphasizing the A quality.
yeah, because it's a substitute for a minor, it's a substitute for a major chord.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
So you're focusing on the major aspect of it.
Yeah, and I think that when I'm saying it, I think you probably answered my worst part of these things is that there is a rule for something that I don't know, because I use phrases like, connectors and leaping and stuff like that are on trampolines, but I need to learn that kind of terminology. Thank you. That was not around my test, so I didn't have to, but I did. I'm having a hard time explaining it, but I do appreciate that. But the emphasis, you are confirming that quality of the chord that you lose if you put that, and it still probably isn't answered very good. Gina's good with those guidelines, and
could I give two other potential explanations as well?
Yes.
Just to throw them into the mix.
Yes.
One would be that in terms of circle of fifths harmony, if you're looking at the first and second bar is just going 1 5 1 5, that's got to be the strongest in terms of circle of fifths movement for barbershop, which makes it an A and relative minor, rather than choosing to see it as a minor chord. So you're just interpreting it in a way that's going to be strongest in terms of circle of fifths movement. And then the other thing is, if we go back to the original sheet music and look at it and look at the bass movement
Mhm.
left hand for the piano, you've got that foundational note moving up a fifth as well. So if you can get any cues from the original sheet music, that helps too.
There you go. Thank you. Well, you know, by a teacher, you'll, and when you become a teacher, by your students, you'll be taught. So there you go. But those are all good points, and you guys are just reconfirming all the things it takes a family here to get this across. And what I hear, you have just confirmed with the reference to the circle of fifths, because it is where that harmony logically goes, and that's where a bass line generally does. So when we had, yeah, this is really such a difficult thing. I think we need to take a look before we do the next one and see, first of all, do we need to change the key before we have you do it? Because then we can do that. I think if we were not all kind of otherwise having focus other ways. I was looking at,
Emily, out of curiosity, what key did you change it to?
well, what do you think would be appropriate, Liz?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking her. I don't want to think about it. I just want to ask her.
Well, I just think going up to E flat is the first good choice. Does that get anybody in any trouble? No. It helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, I could put my bass. I could use all those bottom notes then.
And you know, the whole thing, there's nothing goes that high. Right now the tenor's on a D sharp is the highest that it goes to. Well, when that got revoiced, they weren't on a D sharp anymore, and it didn't spend much time at D. So the tenors go E flat up to there, possibly up to E. If you took it up to E, maybe an E is going to be a better choice. You know, could be a much more singable place for the leads. And
Right.
I don't know that it would get anybody else in any trouble. Do you see that anybody would have any, you know, if you look at it, it's like keeping in mind where everybody's tessitura is, right? And so the bass has no problems in this song and being in their tessitura if it's in D, A, or it'd be better in E flat, fine in E. Even the baritone, if you look at it, and yes, the baritones can sing that low, but look at how consistently the baritones are in the lowest part of their tessitura, and then they don't spend much time anything, you know, above an E, and that's not going to ring chords very well, is it? We have to remember to ring chords, and that's why this is a poor choice for a key as well as the rangy melody. But I'm thinking E flat and possibly even E might be interesting, don't you?
Measure nine, the leads are already on a B, so a
Yes.
full step would stretch them a little bit.
C sharp. Yeah.
Yeah, but on the other hand, if there's keeps you closer than that's almost a killer for a lead to sing that line. I want those little thirds then going to that very low E in when you were up here. As long as you're going to be up in the upper part of your range, you're going to have a lot more. If you were up a whole step, you're all in the upper part of your tessitura. Do you understand that?
Mm.
If you are right, if you were in if you're gonna have a hard time ringing that for the leads. Would ring a lot better. I think the whole song would ring a lot better that way. And then you would find you didn't have to make so many, the choices wouldn't be, I think, quite so difficult. But I think it'd be interesting. I've really never done it in E. I think we pitched it up to E flat. And the other group did E flat. And I thought all the time, I think it can go up another half, because then, yeah, if you were going to sing the doggone song at all. It's a cute song though, you know? That's a
So
huge
Judy,
song.
are you saying when we're wanting to ring notes, it's best from the middle of our tessitura up to the top? Like that's where the ringing is going to be better as a general rule for singers?
I was talking about a lead line.
Yeah, but I'm just talking generally for everybody's voice range.
Mm.
Anytime you're going in the lower part of your range, it's going to be harder to ring. And so that's why we try and stick more towards the middle or higher of their tessitura. So that it doesn't become dirgy, I guess.
Well, yeah, that's true. We were doing a thing the other day and had a thing with it. And I said, well, the bass wanted to sing this thing. I have a bass in this quartet that wants to sing everything really low because she can. And I'm going, well, just because you can doesn't make it a good idea, Kathy. I know you like that and you want to ring it, but what you were saying, it becomes muddy. It won't ring a chord. You know, we have this down here and you're singing a D flat or a C, and everybody else has to be then in, you know, proportionately, and we're all not going to, it's not going to ring as much as if, you know, we brought it up and if I revoiced it or something. But
Yeah.
I think it isn't so much what you can sing, it's where you can sing the best that will ring. And in general, that will be, that's why we only sing in E flat E, A flat A, you know, those kinds of things, sometimes F, but in those chords, those ranges, we don't sing many songs in, although there are exceptions, some songs are given to, we're singing an up tune that I arranged, and it's in the key of C, which is odd,
Mm.
but it happens to work on this one, but it's not often. But I think it is. I'm saying your tessitura because everybody has a different tessitura, but your voices get brighter and ring more up higher, like in general. Yeah, in general, the best. Well, you know those sheets. I don't know if we've had those. If that's been revised yet, but the sheets of the best singing ranges has changed. It's always changing. It started out being one thing, and then it went to something else, and then something else, and then and it's like the best singing range, and then ideal, and then could be kind of things, you know, and then the average and whatever. But there are certain places that just simply stop at the ring, and that will, you know, like I say, this one there won't be much ringing on this thing at all, no matter how you voice it. And I can see why, like Abigail and Don put everything up higher to try and find some ring in it, and then that gets us in other trouble, other trouble spots. But anyway, so let's see. Someone asked one time about changing the melody, and so in a song like this, you wouldn't want to, because you might change a passing tone or something like that sometime, but not a well-known song. Most everybody would know, you know, da 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 da, you know, that you can't really change that. So don't change the melody on a well-known song. Dramatic leaps are a problem. You know, the parallel octaves are generally not a good idea. The last chord of a measure, and we had this on the others, the last chord of a measure leads you to something new, leads you somewhere. And this is something I wanted to, if we could get that other one up there. But you see between 7 and 8, between 10 and 11, it needs to go somewhere compatible, or, you know, that's a problem where we had and 4 to 5 too. And then if it just sort of collapses or jumps or something, those are keys that we always want to be careful to be sure that we don't end something and then go, whoa, here I am now.
Surprise.
Jean is back. Yay.
Oh, listen, I apologize. I'm sorry. I had to deal with
Well,
my mom, and she's finally now laying down and back asleep. So that's probably a good thing. I'm
Oh,
sorry. She's just really
Okay.
getting stubborn. Oh my God. Oh, she's always been such a kind, sweet lady. She hasn't been very kind the last couple of days. Like, oh
Oh,
dear. So
Yeah,
I
that's fine.
apologize. Anyway,
it's
okay.
okay.
it's all right.
Where are you guys?
We're doing,
You're all done? Probably.
we've been jumping around a lot. I think we decided that for one thing, we want to make sure that before the next one, if it needs a key change, we decide before we start.
Yes.
So that everybody does it in a key that is, suitable for us and that we can make good choices and not go, well, if we're in the other key, it might have been this, right?
Yes, that's a
So let's
great
do that for
idea.
sure.
Yeah.
Could we take a look again at let's take a look at somebody, are we doing in time here? Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Let's take a
okay.
look at who else had something in there for us?
Uh,
I wanted to see how everybody did that, the very last measure.
Oh, yeah, let's look at since we were looking at, I guess, the
right
cans.
here.
Yeah.
Right here
Did
measured.
you ladies get my arrangement?
Yes.
You
Who
did?
said, who
Okay.
said that?
Yeah.
I did. Elizabeth, yeah.
Elizabeth. Oh,
Yeah.
yes, I think you're the one that just sent it. Yes, and I think
No, I sent it on Friday. I think I sent it Friday.
I think I
Either,
have it.
yeah, maybe Friday or Thursday night, I think. I sent it.
Let me see what I have here. Let's see, who do I have? I'm gonna pause this a minute and take a look. I have Abby, I have Liz, I have Donna, and Emily. Oh my gosh, now I have to go back and look again now, Elizabeth.
It would have been named L. Frank dash second rows.
Oh, okay. All right, let me go look at my email then. So let me
Okay.
put somebody up here. And then I'll look for it while you guys are talking about it. I'm sorry I missed.
Go ahead and put that answer key up there that they said, which,
You want that one up there? Okay.
yeah, at the very end, the bottom of the page.
Judy,
Yes.
do you think that one of the difficulties of this song for us was that it was a soul to soul song? Kind of that the melody lays kind of the fifth to the fifth within the key.
Well, actually, that's a really good, that's a plus that the song is from so to so.
That's a plus, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
it is. I mean, it's easier. It fits the barbershop range better. Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, I'll go back and look for this other.
Now, this is supposed to be the corrected version. And I don't know what you think about it, but I don't think it's real good. That ain't been used, that once again, we were talking about the melody. Never had a thing that ain't been used. That's not a melody. So I say that they're corrected. We need to tell Kay, we need to get rid of that for the answer key because it's ridiculous. Use. Everybody else dances around the melody, but there has to be a melody,
Yeah.
we can't all go to be doing a harmony. So
This is the old right, I bet you.
yeah, there you go. It's an
It
old
is.
right. Yep. Well,
Yeah.
our new right is going to be, we're not going to have the melody line be squished. And anyway, so that's what they did. So I'm anxious to see what you did. What else would be?
Oh, that's Emily.
They
Hey.
did fix that so that we do have at least an E 7 and an E diminished 7, right? And a diminished, right? I'm just trying to count as I'm doing this. No, that's not diminished. Yeah. But the ain't is that was the problem. Okay, but if the lead is there. Would have an entirely different look, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I have to stop the screen to get Elizabeth to.
Yeah, that's
come
all right.
up. Sorry.
One of the things that I struggled with in this was crossing the line between just fixing what I think was blatantly wrong versus making a whole brand new arrangement. Because I would want to do something different and then it just wouldn't flow into what was next.
We had And if you want to just, yeah, just don't do what you think needs to be done with that. First, we have to identify the errors here, and then how would you do it? If that, they had their melody, they went to that E7 thing, but if we had the A all the way through, it would be not that, it would be a different chord. If the lead posts the melody, that ain't been used, what is that? An A7. A7? Whatever those chords are, I'll figure it in a minute. Anyway, so, but that would be what I'd say. So did you find the one that you were looking for, Jean?
Yes, I'm getting it up now, so then I can share the screen again. Okay, so now I have Elizabeth's too. I'm sorry I missed that. There we go. Okay, now we can go back to where we were. Move this over. There we go. And who were we looking at the moment? Oh, we were looking at the real answer, right?
Yeah, well,
I have to go back to
suggested
that.
something.
The suggested stuff. Yeah, I'll go back to that. And then I can share the screen again. Come on. There it is. Okay. There we go. Okay. I think I'm caught up to you now. Who are we going to look at next? Did you finish with this part?
Yeah, we're gonna see what we talked about it before when we talked about measure
Okay.
11. Remember, just all it did
Yeah.
was just flip-flopping the
Oh,
baritone
yeah.
and the tenor. And that, and then that ain't been, may not have been the most ideal thing, but they
Mhm.
didn't change it. Maybe you have a better way to change it. That's just, I think there's,
Good. So let's
Yeah.
let's look at everybody's. Do you have a preference who we go to right now? This thing's
no, well,
sort of-
we looked a little bit at Donna's, not all of it. We looked at Abigail's.
okay. We could look
So
at,
just, if we can just take a peek at them and see.
okay.
Yeah.
This is we'll look at Elizabeth since I just got that up. There we go. Let me get it ready here. These pictures keep jumping around. Get out of my way. All right. There we go. All right, can everybody see that?
Mhm.
This one's Elizabeth. Okay, so we play through it. Oh, shoot. That's not on the right thingy. Okay, let's see. Shoot, come on. There you are. Okay. All right, maybe it'll play now. Whoops, no, it's not on there. Nice. I got some nice spots in there.
Was
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great.
So you have some interesting chord changes there.
Yeah.
You want to talk about it, Emily?
Yeah, let's listen through the. Let's listen to the first little couple of measures again. That part's good. Yeah, so it's stop. Okay.
Okay.
Let's talk about these first two measures, huh?
I would say, as someone who didn't know the song before, I much prefer these chords to those minor chords. The minor chord just sounds weird to me, but that's what is in the original sheet music. But I much prefer this for my ear.
Ah, that's a good observation.
Where particularly, Liz, are you talking about?
Which
Well,
parts
the
do you like?
business and secondhand, like the A6 she's got there instead of the F sharp minor.
Ah,
Those chords, those,
yeah, I get what you're saying.
yeah, I found the F sharp minor just discordant. Like, to me, it didn't feel like part of the song. It felt just weird. But I don't know if that's because I don't know the song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess maybe that's why it made me go, what? Because I do know the song. That makes a difference.
Yeah, yeah.
Really makes a difference. So A6, when we've learned through the ACP lessons and stuff that an A6 6 chord is a secondary chord, right?
Mm.
And so it's even though all arrangements are going to have secondary chords in it, this seemed like this has an unnecessary 6 chord in there, which makes it sound less barbershoppy, where a minor, a minor 7th chord sounds, even though that's not one of the big three chords, the 3 biggies that ring, it just, I don't know, that's what my ear noticed right away. It's like, oh.
So you wouldn't call a minor chord a secondary chord, even though it's not a big 3, it's not a secondary chord, is what you're
Right,
saying.
that's what I was trying to remember. If
I agree it sounds nice, but it sounds really modern, and that's probably why Liz likes it, as do I. But
yes.
so I think it's beautiful, and I probably would have chosen that if I was arranging it. But if you want a strictly barbershop exercise, then the F sharp minor is probably more appropriate.
Yes, yes. Well said. That was just right, Abby. Yes.
But I do love this one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So let me ask you, Liz.
Let me just say one thing about that before you go on. And I heard the modern flavor of it, which was kind of cool. You had this cool thing that you did, that modern, or that secondhand.
Strictly secondhand.
That secondhand business that that secondhand
yeah, it has to go wants to go somewhere.
It isn't going anyplace.
Yeah. Yeah.
That bass goes da, 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 and it goes da, 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 da. It just kind of dies there and everything. And the lead is that what you meant, or is that a typo? That's what I wondered.
Are you asking me, did I make an error somewhere?
Yeah, we were asking, is that the chord you intended?
It is the chord I intended, but
yeah,
I didn't
think it was a typo.
And you're right, I didn't like how it flowed into the next section, but I struggled for hours on this because I really wanted it in a different key, but I needed to keep it in the D, and I had a lot of different ways I ended up arranging this thing, and this is just the one I landed on.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So you know what? Here's something you can do. Like when I arrange, I don't know why, and I'm still like this. I hear everything in the key of F. And so
F?
I arrange everything in the key of F. And then when I'm all done, I'll go, oh yeah, well, that's way too high. This really needs to be an E flat, or, something like that. So when you're thinking what you just said about, oh, I really wanted to do it in a different key, you should arrange it in that key. Then put it back to this key that we all agreed on. And how many spots were still okay? And then what kind of problems did that create because you had to be in this specific key? So that's, because my brain, I don't know, it thinks of the key of F all the time. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. So that's something you could do, as you're learning all these different things about how to arrange. That might be helpful. I don't know. Yeah.
If you, Elizabeth, if you take I was gonna suggest that, did you play the bass and the lead together just by themselves?
No, I did not, but I sang each individual part by itself, but
And
not,
that's good
not-
too. If you want to see if you have a flow of anything before you do anything else, those two parts have to sound like they go together. And so that's what I would encourage you to do, and see how many of the things that you would maybe hear that if you did just the sogas. Yeah, that, can we hear the problem and everything from there? You have these two parts. That didn't sound like a bass lead kind of movement thing, did it?
Like not a match or something.
Are you with me? I mean, do you think, or do you didn't hear that differently? In other words, if you have this is also, you have some wonderful ideas there. But the that's your chording with the bass gone down. This is too close voice for, of course. But if you just simply flip flop the bass, the baritone.
Oh yeah, put the bass in there.
Which measure are you in?
I'm on measure 3.
I know.
So
see, yeah,
this
you
is
got to
what-
say that first.
This is what she has. Instead of that going, then you have a singable line that keeps the flavor of your chords simply revoiced. Because see, everything from toothpick is not a bass line. See, everything from, that's a bass line. So you had, your chords were cool. It just needs to be revoiced.
So then
Okay.
that needs to be-
The other thing was on Father Has a Business. Father has a business. Father has a business. That's a bass line. So let the tenor and the bass switch. Father has a business. So that you have now the bass line. So, do you see where I'm going there? So you have your cool chords and everything that we had there simply will sing now better for the part if you just revoice them. Because you have and everybody liked, they liked your chords,
Yeah.
but it didn't, yeah.
So after you do those chords, like what part of the chord is the bass on? Did you check for those kinds of things? Oh, they're okay here, but like when I look at this, oh, I see, you were doing it to try to transition to there. Tell me, I'm guessing I shouldn't do that. Elizabeth, tell us, what was your thought process in this very cool thing you did here? And then you said you noticed it really didn't go into that. So tell us what your thought process was.
You're muted, Elizabeth.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm having trouble hearing what's wrong with my.
I'm not sure I can explain it at this point.
Okay.
Because, I may have done that particular, shall we call it embellishment, where the bass and the barrier going down. I may have done that with another voicing in measure 3 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I'm not sure, but you're right. It doesn't quite lead because it needs to do something better. It needs to go somewhere. You're right. I understand that.
But, okay, so that, it's really, the hand is a beautiful little movement, and those little kind of duet things are great. But that needs to go someplace when you have a nice move for that, it needs to resolve kind of, instead of get stilted. But again,
Yeah.
measure 3, if you just simply try that measure by yourself and simply flip flop your chords. When we have a closed voice chords, it's very hard for chords to, that's really hard to sing. And you do have the bass. You do have the bass on a 7th
On
there.
the
on a
7th,
downbeat.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was
Yes.
talking about earlier. You put the bass on 7th, but not on the downbeat and not on the first beat of a measure. It is strong, and you have the strong beat there on your baritone. So just flip them, and then I think you've got something very nice there. Some
Yeah.
alternative harmonies, and we love that. And one of the thing when you go toothpicks, you got, and then up to this.
Mhm.
And again, if you flip flop your bass, your baritone, then you have a line that's going. You see, that's what I'm saying. At the end of a measure, it needs to lead into the next measure. And I think that's what we're seeing here, Elizabeth, just some good ideas, but they have to flow to the next thing. Right now you have people, it's sort of everything collapses into toothpicks 2, but toothpicks 2. So just try, but she can do that. We don't have to do it now, but I'm just suggesting that you take a look at that with your cool harmonies and try some revoicing, okay?
So are you saying flip the bass and the bari for throughout the whole measure of 3?
I think that,
No, well, not necessarily, but the places that don't work, like everything was fine, then the rest of it was fine.
yeah.
See? Now you
Listen-
have basses going, everything from toothpicks.
Listen
Okay.
to this.
If you
Listen to
read-
this, how this sounds now. That's nice.
There you go. See, that's very nice.
Yeah.
It's a very, very inventive, and that kind of stuff works. But do you understand why I'm saying the voicing was off?
Yeah, I do. And I really didn't like the voicing that I had either, but I think I was just trying to make it fit because I wanted the chords.
And so find a way to make your chords work.
Yeah.
Same thing
Yeah.
for your to a baby ground. You have nice toothpicks, and then you've got toothpicks, and then it jumps, everybody jumps somewhere else. Then just again, on to flip flop the bass and the baritone, so that the everything from toothpicks to a baby grand, or to a whatever, but at the end of a measure, it needs to flow to the next measure. We can't just everybody pick up and leave town and go somewhere else. Are you with me? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we've got, I would say take a look at the rest of that, because you have very cool chords. And again, on father has a business. The same thing on both of your 4th chord there. Just consider changing the bass and the tenor on and again on the und chord. Let's not do it now, Jean, because we need to go to
Okay.
somebody else's.
Okay.
But I'm just suggesting that that's not a bass line, a good bass. Father had a business, segue second. You see what I mean? Father has it didn't need to go there. Father has a business. If you just switched the tenor and the bass on your you still have your good chords, your inventive chords, but it has better voicing, okay? Well, let's take a look. We have time, we'll go.
Now, wait, before we leave this, I wanted, oh, shoot. Hold on. Here's another approach. Wait, I gotta go let Kelly in. I'll be right back. But I don't want to leave this yet because I haven't thought. Hold on.
Anyway, but I do like it. I'm glad you guys, when you come up with some alternative voicing like this is very good. And then we just kind of step through it and you hear those. I worked on a tag today and for my quartet, which I've only done about 80 times now. And so, and I sent it off. I recorded it for them, sent them all their parts, and then I printed it. And an hour later I came and I sat down, I went, no. So I sent him an email, I sent him a text, and I said, disregard what I sent you. Because I looked at it, once I put it on Finale, and then I saw, no, that's not what I wanted. And so we have those, but, and again, mine, Elizabeth, was a voicing. All of a sudden I thought, why did I do that? That's an awkward voicing, you know? So we do that, but with yours, I can see you have a real inventive things going on. But throughout this, I think I would do look at some of your voicing. Sometimes we see it was bass baritone, sometimes it was bass tenor. That's odd. Oftentimes it's baritone tenor, right? So you have some possibilities there, but and I would take a look at your To a Baby, just take a look at that. I think go through the whole thing and try some of the voicing, and then try singing, playing the bass and the lead. If that doesn't sound right, then fix that first and then go with the rest, okay?
So here's
Yep.
another, when you say how.
Oh, sorry, Jean, you're back.
The thought that I had was, you loved this move here, which is very cool. And then you discovered, oh, but it doesn't work going into over here. So what do I do? So when I come to a spot like that, I just leave that blank, like I don't finish the embellishment and go from there to here. And I keep playing like maybe just this chord, even though I know it needs to go somewhere else, to here, and until my brain plays around with it. And sometimes I hear an embellishment in my head that might work going from there to there. So I guess what I'm trying to suggest is leave some of your embellishments unfinished. If you run into a spot where you love that, but it doesn't fit into there, and then decide, so what needs to change? Do I need to change the way I'm doing this, which is what Judy said would work if you switch the voicing around? Or do I need to, even though I love this, maybe I could use it somewhere else in the arrangement and come up with a different embellishment that would lead into this. So it's just different ways to think when you're stuck on something. Okay.
Yeah, good points.
Do you feel that it works now that Judy revoiced everything?
Let's play it and see. Hold on.
Well,
We'll just do four measures or so. So what did you think of that, Elizabeth?
Oh, I think it's better. Sure.
Yeah, the voicing's better down here.
Better. Yeah.
How is it from here to there? The end of measure 2 to measure 3.
Better, but maybe not exactly.
Right.
Maybe not that. Yeah, maybe not quite there. Yeah.
So those are
Yeah,
the
better
things.
because the bass.
Save that cool move for someplace else, maybe.
But that is very
in any
cool.
event, you have, just trying to show you good chords, good stuff there. Just tweak it. So okay, let's look at something else here, and then if we have time, we'll come back to some other things.
Yeah. Okay. So let's look at someone else. Let's see. Have we done Emily's yet? Did we do Emily's?
so.
I don't know, because I was
Emily, I think is in. I thought you were in E flat, but maybe not.
Well, I did. I transposed it to D,
Oh,
so,
did you?
so that it would match what we were doing. But I can put it back to E flat.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Just leave it there for right now, so we've got the same thing.
Okay. All right. Let's see what's
Okay,
happening
so-
here. Oh shoot! We're gonna run into the same thing that it's not gonna play. See, if I didn't have so many things going on, I would have had this done ahead of time so that we could hear it right away. Oh, man, letting you guys down. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, cool. Oh, nice.
Ah,
Nice.
Nice.
Yay.
straight on the A.
Yay.
That's exactly the chord that I was looking at, and that's what you did. That
Yay.
ain't been used with the A7 and the, thank you, the D sharp 7. What? Good. Okay, well,
Yay.
Miss Emily, you got some cool stuff going on here, don't you?
Well done.
So you have alternative 1 and alternative 2. What does everybody think? Which did you like better?
Wow. I like them both. So how can we do that? Huh. Let's do number 1 again. See? Okay. Let's do number 2 then. Hold on. Yeah. Ah, what do you guys think?
I like the first one better.
Mhm.
How come? What was it? What was it about it that you liked better?
It was, I don't know, it just sounded more like what I thought the implied harmony was, I guess. I don't know. It was more like the way I did it.
Ah,
But
well,
she
she
has
used
the
the same
harmony,
chord.
the
Yeah, she
same
used the
harmony.
same
but
chords. Yeah.
Let's take a look at measure at the third measure there, the third and the fourth chords has a, right? And the lead, I mean, the tenor and the bass are singing the same notes going up. That's why that is not strong. We don't want the tenor, we don't want two parts singing the same notes, going up, right?
Consecutive octaves.
Yeah. Yeah, can say, thank you, what she said. Yeah, so, yeah, parallel octaves, thank you, that's what I was trying to go, but, yeah, and so it had a better flow to it, you were thinking, I was having to kind of work following this one. Father has a business, everybody's going up, and then, so, yeah, the first one, I think the first one better. Let's go down to the next thing. And you had two, you had an alternative now, another for bar 4, okay.
Yeah, I just left bar 3 as was. I only changed that final chord in bar 4.
Oh, okay, good. So let's go down, Jean, to next to 5 and 6. Jean, are you there? Oh, no. Jean.
Sorry,
Jerry, hello?
all the bar numbers will be off now because I added the extra 2 at the beginning.
Okay, that's good,
Yeah.
but if she'll just.
I'm wondering, between
Yeah.
the first alternative and the second alternative, of course, the tenor is much higher, and so it sticks, you can hear it much clearer. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that makes the melody more difficult to, like, it takes away from the melody because the melody is so much lower. Is it easier to hear the melody in the first arrangement than the second one? That's what I'm saying, because
And thank you, Liz. You did, I meant to say that at first. On the Father has, basically better to keep the tenors on that F sharp and the baritones on the D. Father has, so that the melody, yeah, it gets obscured when the 3 parts are going up. And again, when we have more than an octave between the bass and the baritone, the divorced bass, see how you can fix it with so the baritone, instead of father has a business, right? Then it won't obscure the melody, as Liz was just saying, right? Father has a business, strictly second hand, said, father has a business, because that F sharp is gonna pop right out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep, and then father has a business, strictly second hand, yeah. Then the melody will be more obvious. Thank you for pointing that out. That was the only thing I would change about the first two measures, is just that tenor note. And we just, again, when we see more than an octave between two parts, it's like, how could I revoice that and get that? Okay, Jean, hello. Can you move the page up, please?
So
Hello?
are you on the, I got lost in all that. So on the word has, are you
Yes.
leaving the baritone on the F sharp or you move?
No, have the baritone go down to the A
Oh, okay.
and leave the tenor on the F sharps. In other words, flip flop the baritone and the tenor right there. And then we don't obscure the melody, and the baritone won't pop out, and we see that we fix that. Father has a business, makes a nicer line there. There you are, Jean. I was gonna ask you to move the page up, but I was not getting your attention, so
Sorry, yeah.
I was gonna try some, okay. So, so we wanted to go from everything from toothpicks. And so you had a cool, good harmony there. Is there, let's see,
I don't think I changed anything except baby grand.
yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. And that was the problem, wasn't it? And you fixed that. So everything from toothpicks. And yeah, there's not a real good way to do that. Another way might be to flip flop that baritone and the tenor on every, right?
Baritone and
And
tenor.
then once again, we have that spread, right, between the baritone and the bass. So, and then we would have everything from toothpicks, be the baritone said, everything from toothpicks, or something like that.
Yeah, I think I tried doing that, but then you end up with the cross relationship because the Barry's
Yeah.
then been on the A and the tenor on the A flat.
Oh, where,
thing.
oh. Yeah, it would be, and once again, so we have to decide which is the most critical area that needs to be handled. Is it the big baritone jump from re to thing? Is it once again that augmented second that we have? We're gonna have it either way, aren't we? So, or is a cross voicing. So,
The way it is now, you've got the cross voicing from baritone to bass.
baritone to bass.
You've got an F sharp to an F.
Yeah, oh, I see. I was sorry. Yes, and you do there? Yes, you do. If you put the baritone and on the tenor note. I think that the tenor line would be better with the baritone note on every, and the bass, if the baritone say everything from toothpicks, is a smoother voice line. If the voice leading is easier, everything from toothpicks, right? Yeah. And you're gonna have, and the voice, we're still gonna have a cross reference, but it's not from touching parts, and that helps. Yeah. So in general, there's not a real good way to fix this, but I think the better choice is to make the tenors on the F sharp and the baritone on the A. Once again, the other thing is it's going to take over the lead line, isn't it? Right? on every, if the tenor and the baritone are both above the lead, close in. That's another consideration with the melody line. You see what I mean? If they were spread apart, you would hear it more, but they're very close there. And so the baritone can easily be, so it just sounds awkward, but if they're, and you listen to those two parts, the baritone and the lead on everything. If you go, instead of, you can hear it, just the two parts that didn't sound right, did it? Did you hear that?
You know what? When I listen to that, what you're saying, oh, they both sound okay to me, but one sounds smoother than the other way. You know, they both sound okay when you did it to my ears, but I did notice one was smoother than the other.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Can I just ask
So,
a question as an aside, just it does the cross relationship issue. The da, 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 to my mind is an easier one to navigate, even if somebody else has just had the accidental, because you're sort of resolving down. But is that just because that's a fairly common thing in a baritone line? Is it less acceptable in bass to do this movement that's on the original arrangement?
I'm not sure I
mean,
understand
from
the
the bass
question.
to the D to the F natural, you mean?
Yeah, I feel like that's one of those cross relationships that's sort of less contentious because it's easy to navigate when you're just sort of then resolving down to
I
the
see
E.
what you're saying.
Or is that because that's something that to my baritone ear is pretty common in a baritone line? It's actually not as acceptable for a bass.
Yeah. Baritones can hear just about anything, but there's a smoother bass way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that correction was way better. But just in terms of cross relationships in general, I often write that sort of feature into a bass line because I think it sounds cool. But is that more of a Barry move?
Yeah, I think it's more of a Barry move. I don't know. What do you think, Judy? It might
I
depend
think
on the situation.
I think there's another possibility for an alternative voicing, which would be that they wouldn't go to that particular chord by not having the bass sing that. But I'm with you. I don't know that it's an odd duck, I would call it, but it may be the best choice, but it is very odd and is not a normal thing we would do. But if we want that chord, there's not a good choice. We can't flip flop the tenor in the bass. We can't flip flop. Well, yeah, you could flip flop and then the bass would be saying everything from to the, but that's another choice.
Yeah.
So you find the smoothest thing you could do, and if you drum it in their heads long enough, they'll get it. So I'm singing 100 times, you'll get it. So
Oh, yeah,
to a baby
yeah.
grand and you fix that, that's good. So good. Nice job, Emily. Very nice job. Let's go to the next thing take a little quick look at the rest of it here.
Okay. When we go to the next page, you mean?
Yeah, just go to the next page because she had something I wanted to look at. Oh yeah, I wanted to see the 7 apartment, father's store, everything I'm wearing. Someone before.
Oh, the
And
terrible
this is-
transition.
Yeah, that wearing, and all of a sudden we all leaped up. So I think
Yeah.
Whoop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, let's listen to. So we got to listen to the first line or just the second line?
yeah, just this everything I'm wearing. Someone, well, you know what to do with that, Emily. You
Ah.
Yeah.
Not good.
But but that's a nice voicing. You're someone wore before, which you fixed the bass problem there by taking it up what they had there. You could put a swipe in there. Everything I'm wearing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And take you up to that next thing because someone wore before it was cool. You fixed the problem that they had on here with the bass staying down. Everyone before, which is good. So you might just figure out some kind of a swipe. Everything I'm wearing. Or, yeah, that might be the best thing to do. You could make it a lead, you could make it a lead in too. Everything I'm wearing, someone more before, and have the rest of them come in after that. They still have to find it, so.
Yeah. The other thing I tried, which looked okay, but then didn't sound quite right, was just swapping tenor Barry just on some, and then changing the chord again for one. But when I sang it out, it was just more clunky. So I prefer that solution with the lead coming in first, even though it's still the same interval to navigate.
But you're right, but the very first chord on some would be much improved if the wearings, and again, the baritone would be under the lead. That would be it won't, because when you get the baritone up there, they're going to pop. Do you hear those two parts up there, the baritone and the tenor on someone? Everybody, you go. Yeah, that's very dominant. And here's the lead. Kind of like as an afterthought, because are going to take them out. So bring it down and take the same chord that you had and make an easier voice leading for everybody by keeping the baritone below below the lead. And on war, then you could have a 3-part chord there, or someone war, or go ahead and go up at that point. Not up, no. Yeah. Yeah, if you take the whole tenor line, someone more before, somehow do the tenor, the Barry on someone war, and then maybe go to your before that you had, the way you have it. It's something that can get us past having a cross reference there. And do you know what I'm saying? Probably not. I didn't say it very well. Yeah, and that would take some work there, but I think it's probably worth it to try it. Yeah, you try it. Now, it's no wonder. I like the way you started on a 3-part chord. I like that. I think it's very inventive. It's no, and then popped it up. It's no wonder that I feel abused. I think that's some very beautiful stuff there. Really looks good.
I agree.
It's no wonder. Do we play that right there, Jean?
Sure.
Nice thoughts. Good.
I like what you did there. Yeah. Let's do it once more.
I like that because it did sound like it was abused. Abused, so abused. I mean, it sounded almost like a vaudevillian sort of a thing there. See, they just tip their hats, but I would not put an octave chord in that. I would make a chord out of it. Feel abused. Abused. I don't think an octave there works. Do you? Oh, I see.
Yeah, one of the reasons it doesn't work is you shouldn't do it in the middle of a word. You know, like the whole word could be an octave, but to put it in the second syllable is an awkward thing.
Sure.
Well, it's funny when you played it, I didn't hear the high E. I guess that's what bothered me.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it at all. And then it sounded okay. It's looking at it thinking,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Just something to think about. I don't know. Maybe that's all right. I don't know. Just a thought.
The alternative would just be to have the other 3 parts have a quaver rest and come in.
Yeah.
On the second.
Yeah.
That would work okay too.
Yeah.
So here's a little finale thing. Some of your eighth notes have 4 eighth notes being together, and some of them are 2. I'm assuming you put in the melody, and then you put in the others. There's a
Yeah, and I usually do the thing where I turn off the automatic eighth note, so I must.
oh good. So you do
must
know
not
how
have
to
done
do that.
reformat. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
it's
I
really
just
annoying
wanted
when
to
it
make
does
sure
that.
you knew. I just wanted to make sure you knew how to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
No. All right. Did we
Okay, good. And the ending, delightful. So
Yeah. this
that's
is
my,
really
that's
cool.
my idea of a good thing is taking it in.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, who we get next?
Yay!
Mhm.
Good. Okay, let's see who we can go to now. Let me
Not
see.
here.
If it's in the way.
We haven't done Liz's, have we? No, we need to do Liz's.
Okay.
There's lots that has already been covered in mine with what we've already talked about. Yeah.
Can I just flag that I'm currently in a hotel with my husband, and we've got to check out in just over 10 minutes. So I'm going
Ooh.
to need to pop off a call
Okay.
very shortly.
Did we have another date picked already and stuff? I don't
No.
remember.
Next date is picked, but we'll probably have to shift the time because of daylight savings.
Ah,
And what are we doing next time? Just one exercise?
Yeah, let's take, so we don't have a date. Do we have a date? No.
Yeah,
No.
Yes, we have a date.
May, nothing in April, and then we have May.
There you go, May.
Yeah, 6, 7.
May
May
6, 7.
Got it,
Yeah.
yes, got it, okay. So let's take a look quickly at that and then we will take a look at Liz's, okay? So it's when you are a tulip, right? And these glasses are, I put the wrong glasses, oh dear. Shoot, okay, so what about this key? Let's decide if we like that key or not, so.
Looks all right.
let's see. I could tell you the answer is in a different key. I don't know if that helps or not.
Well, maybe we should just do it in the answer key, and then it makes things a lot easier. I mean, the key that they chose is fine, but I'm sure another one would be fine.
I don't trust the answer sheet, but yeah,
It could go either way.
we generally go along and do our thing.
We could do it in the key of G, or we could do it in the key of F. Either way.
I've arranged this one in F.
Okay.
I haven't to have already done this one.
Yeah. So is everybody okay with doing it in the key of F? You know that's my favorite key, but you don't have to pick it for that reason.
Sure.
I think that the thing with F is probably that it will make it easier for that, the baseline doesn't really ever get, I mean, it goes down go below an F sharp, so that would take it down to, an E is gonna be a little, yeah. And there's the places where, the place where that, who, when you caress me, if it's down, to F, then probably you won't have to have that tenor underneath the lead. You'll be able to put it, the tenor above the lead, I mean, possibly, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna do it in F, right?
Put it in the key of F? Okay.
Good.
Yay. And I'll be more with it next time so that we can have things set up ahead of time. Oh, yeah.
That's good.
So how late can our American friends meet? Because the Australians will be, if it stays the
7
same
o'clock.
time, it'll be 2 hours earlier because
Oh,
we're moving in opposite directions each by 1 hour.
oh
We
my
are?
goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh, okay.
Because your daylight savings finishes and ours ends or starts or whatever.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh. I'm glad
So-
somebody can figure that out.
So
We can
can the,
go whichever
American-
direction you need us to go.
so it would be 2 hours. So it would be 6 p.m. Central. That would keep the Australians at the same time they are now, which is about the earliest they could do.
I
Okay,
see.
so
So-
5 p.m. for me instead of 3. Okay, I got it.
So
I'll
Central-
double
so
check all that,
that'd be-
but
And
I'll
it would
double
be
check.
4
But I think
p.m. for
Donna, are you okay with that? So it would be like 7
That'd
For
be
us, it was-
7 p.m.
to like maybe 10 p.m. or it'll be 9:30 or 10 p.m. Are you okay with
I
that?
can do 10. I
Okay.
wouldn't want to do much more than 10 because I sort of broke
Yeah.
about that time.
Yeah. Okay,
And I should
so,
say, even though,
okay
even
with
though,
you?
even though I'm a sook in the mornings, I can get up an hour earlier if it's going to be.
Yeah, me
like,
too. We
Yeah.
oh,
take
no,
it
no,
an
no, no,
hour
no, no, no,
earlier.
no.
Yeah.
So
no,
should
no.
we split the difference then and say
Yeah.
5
Yeah.
p.m. Central?
Yeah.
That's fine. It's fine with me.
5 p.m.
Yeah.
Central is, so it could, oh, I see what you're saying. So it'll be 6 p.m. Okay,
That's
I don't know.
what
But
we have now. That's what we have now.
Why don't we
No,
just
we
go
had
in
5
between
PM.
and go
Oh,
5
that's right. No, you're right.
Central.
Huh?
That
What'd
gives
you
a
say?
half an hour more for everybody. Is that all right?
What did you say, Judy?
I said, if 5:30 p.m., then that would be instead of 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. if one of those is, I don't,
Okay.
I'm just trying to be whatever.
I can do any of them. you know,
Okay, Donna, if you could do it, I'm a night owl. I can do it. I don't care going
Okay.
later. But I didn't want you to clock out on us, Donna. That's what I was concerned
Okay.
about.
Okay, no,
So
I
you
can.
can
I
last
do
till 10?
7.
Okay. Okay,
I
so we're
can-
gonna do. So we're doing May 6th at 6 p.m. Central Time, right?
6, okay, good. All right, I got it.
That
So how have you put that back? Have you put that back? How much different is that to what you were on already? 1 hour?
Yes,
2
Okay.
hours.
it's
2 hours
oh,
later for the
But it's 2 hours, but it doesn't matter. I mean,
Hey,
whatever.
Donna's Florida, right? I'm just looking this up to
Yeah,
double check.
it's 2
Um,
hours. It's 2 hours.
It's 2 hours different from what we did tonight.
Yeah.
For me.
This
but
is
that's okay.
May-
But the clocks change, but that shouldn't matter. It still would be the same, yeah. So is this
Well,
going to be
it'll be
like that
fine.
from now on, or is it just going to be for the month of May that it gets crazy? Or is it going to be like that?
No,
from
it'll
now
be for
on?
the next 6 months after that until
Oh,
the
okay.
next
Okay.
time that your daylight saving starts or stops.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Well-
that's like November or sometime.
Yeah, right. Okay. Okay,
Now,
so
Halloween.
we're doing, did you write that down, Judy? I got to write it down too.
I
We're
did
doing.
write it down. Mhm. 5
Okay,
p.m.
good.
6 p.m. Central.
So
Okay, 6
okay, I'm
p.m.
just
Central.
double checking all this on a converter to see. So that
Oh,
would
yeah.
be 9 a.m. Melbourne, 7 p.m. Miami, 6 p.m. Central.
Yes.
Is that correct? So 6 p.m. Central. So it's 2 hours later than it is now for the Americans. So it'll be 9 a.m. in Australia, 7
Same
p.m.
time.
in Florida.
Okay.
Is that
Does
correct?
that work for everybody?
Thank you. That's fantastic
That's
for
okay.
us.
Yeah, thanks.
okay? So
Ugh,
6 p.m. Central.
okay.
I know that's
Got
none of us, but that's our
I
Okay.
know that's none of us, but that's how the Zoom is set up in Central Time.
okay.
So that's
Okay. Okay.
good. Okay, good.
Okay.
All right.
Got it.
And we are doing what was the song, Judy?
When you were a tulip.
Okay. All righty. Now, so after doing this one song, some of you just arranged the whole thing. And some of you just said, oh, I'm going to do these measures. And it doesn't matter which way you do it. Okay. But if you could send that to us a week ahead of time, a week before May 6th, then I could get it set up where we could compare it easier without jumping from this one to that one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we have plenty of time to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're going to do it in F. And
Oh, yes.
either way, we'll identify the mistakes that are on here. So we'll have a quick run through of those mistakes that are that we need to really focus on, and then we'll look to see how you all did it with how you wanted to arrange this. Okay.
Yeah,
that?
good.
Okay. Good. Sounds good.
Yay.
Do you want
Where's
to
the
make a
hotel?
following date
Hmm?
after May 6th, 7th? Do you want to make another following date?
You
Good idea.
can.
June 3rd, 4th.
Let me look. Let's see. June 3rd or 4th.
I can do that.
I can do that.
I can do 3rd. I can't do 4th.
Well,
I
the
can do
4th
that.
is for us, Australia.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Gotcha.
so it'd be Friday for us. Oh, okay. Because
Friday.
this one is Saturday, Sunday right now. Yeah. I could do the Friday, but not this. I can do the third,
Yep.
fourth. I can't do fourth, fifth.
Okay, so Friday.
Has Abby left us? I don't see Abby.
I'm here.
Oh,
You don't see me?
Oh,
oh, okay.
okay.
Does that work?
Yeah.
And for now, we'll keep it the same 6 p.m. Central unless we decide
Yeah.
to change it.
That sounds good.
Okay. That sounds good. All right. We got that one in. Yay. All right. That'll get us going. And so, because everybody's busy in April, but if you want something to do, you can start working on whatever the song is after you wore a tulip. But we won't get
Mm.
to it probably till because it takes a while to get through this stuff.
Mm.
And Donna, when you ask me a question and you don't get an answer within a day or two, send me another email. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I will.
I'm not really trying to ignore you. It's just crazy,
I can tell that it is.
Oh my
Bless
God.
your
We
heart.
had we had, again, after I did, so mine has been crazy too. So we were going to Florida and then on Wednesday, I was walking in white sandy beaches, listening to the lapping waves of the Gulf. And on Friday, I was home and putting on snow boots and stocking cap and walking in snow to go see a
Mm.
surgeon tell me how he was going to carve up my body. So I was having, it's like, I don't know which was worse, the snow versus sand and ocean, or the surgeon versus, probably that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Too
So,
much in 1 week. Yep. Too much.
so anyway, yeah, all right, that sounds good. So we better do Miss Liz's.
I've got to
Anyway.
run off. I'll catch up in the
Bye.
recording. Sorry, I need to duck
Emily.
out.
I am.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
But I'm just going to share that when I got up this morning, it was 71 degrees, and tonight it's supposed to be freezing.
Yes, that's just unheard of. Come on now.
Yes.
What?
29, they're saying. So
Really, in
Mm.
Florida?
That's a big jump in temperature
That's-
change.
that's huge. Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Woo-wee. Not right at all.
Now, I think Liz, we're looking at Liz's, right?
This is
And-
Liz.
and I think you're right, Liz.
Liz.
We've addressed
Yeah.
some of these things, haven't we already?
Yeah, there's quite a few things that have been addressed.
But again, we're trying to find answers to some of these, and hopefully, maybe some of this you would look at right now and see that you would want to make a few little,
Yeah,
a few
Yeah.
little works. Yeah, and but yeah, we're getting to things like that. We just, yeah.
I
bet
found a
we'll-
couple of note errors as well. Yeah,
Okay.
oh.
yeah.
Did
You
you
wanna-
have some interesting chords somewhere that we needed to look at that were?
No, I didn't bother fiddling with the chords at all. I only changed the last two.
No, all
Okay.
right.
Well, let's hear it anyway. Let's
Well,
hear the whole
yeah,
thing.
let's do that. Oh, Oh, wait. Something's clashing, and now I know why. Because when you have the chord symbols up there, they play the chord symbols along. Let me block that out.
Oh,
Because I kept thinking, why is that clashing like that? So what I have to do is
I didn't hear any
go-
flashing.
Oh, I did
Hear
I
it.
didn't hear anything.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't either.
ah.
What clashing?
Okay, chords, we want to mute. Okay.
That's the problem I have on MuseScore. I haven't worked out how to cut out the sound of the chords when I'm
Ah.
listening back to my recording. And
Oh,
it's frustrating.
oh yeah. Boy, that would
Oh,
be.
how do you do that? I didn't know you could do that.
But so right now I'm taking the chord sound out of it. So if you go to the window, score manager, and then you can open these up, okay? And so M means mute. So I just put it, mute the chords. So because the chord symbols play, you know.
Right, I know, they do. I always have to go through and delete each one.
Yeah, and
So
so
there's a
that-
box called enable chord playback.
oh,
Donna's
where's
might be
that?
different than yours, Jean. I don't have that mute thing.
Okay.
Maybe it's a new thing, but so Donna, if you press the chord symbol tool and then go to the
Uh-huh.
chord menu, the very last item says enable chord playback, and you tick it or untick it.
Shazam!
Chord menu, last item.
Okay, thank
Nice.
you.
I
Would you
learned
say
something
that again?
today. Thank
I
you.
mean, would you say
So
that again?
so you click the chord tool
There it
and then you
is.
click the chord menu, And then the very last item should say enable chord playback. The
Yeah.
default is it's clicked, so I unclick it and then it won't play them.
Yeah, there it is.
Right.
Right there.
Okay, I got
Chord
you.
menu, enable chord playback.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Nice. Thank
Great.
you.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Yay. Okay, now let's try it. Try it again.
Oh, yeah.
Bloop, 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 bloop.
Yeah, there was a G sharp that was supposed to have a natural instead.
Yeah,
That was that
yeah,
chord.
right here. I was like, whoop! I thought it was the chord symbols. No, it was just written right in there. Yeah.
So you had, so Liz, you put in measure 5 and 6. You had it right, didn't you? Stuff in our
5 and
apartment
6.
came from Father's store, and in the very
Yeah.
first one, on Father Has a Business, you didn't make the, you kept the big open voices, but the second one, or the
Yeah,
5 and 6 works better, doesn't it? I think we've
Yeah.
determined that.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
and for a number of ways, it looks better. When you look at it, it's like, that looks like a very playable thing. And again, when we look at the Father Has a Business with the big, more than an octave things, right?
Yeah.
And we can
yeah.
also see that it's all, when the whole thing goes moving up, we want to see things moving more contrary. So you got it.
Mm.
And you had everything. There's, oh, we've talked about this one, haven't we? Yeah,
Yeah.
the problem with the, yeah, right, we've talked about it, and, right, okay. You've already got that down, okay. To a baby grand, you know, that baby, and I don't know if that's what they had on that, but I thought, I liked your, to a baby grand. I liked your baby, I liked what you did with it. To a baby, and then except grand, oh, that's the G natural, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oops. Get out of there. Yeah, we know that part.
Would you play that to a baby grand slowly?
Sure. Well, let me fix the G natural first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That
that'll
sounded
make
pretty
it go,
bad.
It does come popping out at us, doesn't it?
Yeah.
My
There we
finale
go.
doesn't change when I do the ties, and it just annoys the hell out of
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Because a
Oh.
tie, and there's gotta be a way to fix that, because you're playing along and all of a sudden it goes, and it's like, no, it's a tie, no. Okay, so, if, just for giggles and grins, I don't know, maybe that wouldn't work. I like the sound of the baby going away like that, but then it goes to the grand and it feels kind of hollow. It feels like the bass needs to come up, and then what do we do with that chord, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the problem with it. Generally, if the same note is to a baby grand, it needs to have some movement, doesn't it? A voice, I mean, a harmony part on the same note for a whole measure. I think it needs some.
Yeah.
What was the answer thing doing there to a baby grand?
Oh.
Probably did that same thing. I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, and that's fine. I'm just trying to think of how to make her open voice there work on it if we fix the first part of it, but
Mhm.
I liked her, you know, if you had a closed voice chords, Liz, try a closed voiced on the, you know, flopping those on to a bay, and bring the bass to a baby, and it to a bay. So you'd have a close voice on bay, and then do your big baby.
Mm.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay, so we really don't need an A7 in there, don't we? Just need an A.
No, I think it's an A7 in the other one.
Well, I'm sure, but I'm just saying you
Oh.
have to.
It makes it barber shoppy.
I
Just
know.
wants to change that note, yeah.
Yeah, I hear it. I hear an A7. I hear it.
But if I'm just for giggles and grins,
Yeah.
if she had let's see, to a baby, and then
Oh,
she'd have. I'm just saying, if
Oh yeah, that would be good.
and if the baby were that closed voice, when the bass comes up, to a baby, I don't know. I just liked her baby thing. I just thought that was good. But to a baby grand would be a nice bass voice, right? A nice voicing. To a baby grand. I started something when I have a problem like this. I figure whose voice do I want to fix first, so that I have there's a lead in the bass. That sounds not good, does it? I mean, it doesn't sound bad, but it's not. But if I do, so to a babe,
Change it to a barriers to an E.
yeah. So if to a baby grand, it's an odd tenor line, but it's kind of cool.
I like that.
I just think that's it.
Again, is that because I'm a baritone? But I really like that.
What's that?
She likes it because she's a baritone.
That flow feels really natural to me.
Yeah, no, I like, yeah, yeah, but I think that, no, to a baby grand, and then
Yeah.
take it up to the 7th.
Yes, I like
So
that.
sometimes we're gonna go to that chord, but we have a passing tone in between. But I just thought, I love that big open B chord, that baby. I just thought that was cool. Okay, stuff in our apartment came faster. Even things I'm wearing, someone, and you fixed the problem from the wearing to the nice closed voice chord. Very good. Someone wore before. Now, what happened to before?
Oh yeah, the bass should be on an A on the last note. On the on 4.
Okay.
Before, yeah.
Instead of an E.
E.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
There we go.
and then it's no wonder.
Yeah. And then what? It's no wonder.
And then it's no, yeah. And I think we know what's probably needs to happen with this one, right?
Yeah, and that's when I could change it like Emily's and double the E and then put the bass up an octave higher on the E at the beginning there. That's what you did with her bar.
And
Otherwise,
you are a baritone, Liz?
yeah.
So if you were saying, if I wonder why I feel abused, which you can do because you're a baritone, but it's no wonder if I feel love, right? It's no wonder if I feel, if you just revoice that, that's a more of a good singable line for, without having to be a, and also it won't pop above the melody, will it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no wonder when, and then the tenor won't have to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we've kind of learned that, once again, singing that part and saying, do I like singing that part?
Mm.
I wonder if I feel abused. It's no wonder if I feel abused, right?
Yep.
Okay. I never had a thing that, oh, you got us way up there, didn't you?
Ah,
You know, there's some kind of cool about that. That ain't, I think it's probably a little,
never.
This was one where I was assuming then I should have switched the Barry and tenor line there because that's what you talked about previously.
Right,
uh,
that would be a good idea.
and again, if you look at the whole baritone line, never had a thing that ain't been, baritones never get anything that easy. Come on now. There's something definitely wrong with this thing if they're saying abused and never had a thing that ain't been used. They're gonna go, wow, I'm not gonna pay my union card for that. So it can work, but generally maybe not that much. And besides, the entire measure, the baritone is above the leads. That's probably another thing that shows us to go like,
Too
well,
long.
how could we do that? Yeah, yeah.
Although
if
the
you're
melody is
saying-
pretty
yeah,
low.
yeah. It's no wonder if I feel abused. So that if a thought, and we're going to sing the thought, I never had a thing, would be not a big thing. We wouldn't be making that loud, would we? Because if I never had a thing that ain't been used, it would be kind of like I'd say, I never had a thing that ain't been used. I never had a thing. So we might want to keep that closed voiced. I never.
Yeah.
So just again. Never had, yeah, and then that will bring the baritone down again. Never had a thing that ain't, that sounds more like a baritone part, right?
Yep.
Than someone trying to pretend to be a tenor or something. Yeah,
Well,
sorry. Never had a thing that ain't been used. And I like that you had the nice post there. And I said before that used ain't been used doesn't sound like a melody. I should have said two. I prefer that used across. But if you want to put used been used, that would be more of a melody, wouldn't it? This used been used. I mean, it's like, why am I ending on the seventh of a chord and I'm the melody? I don't do sevenths. I have the melody. No. So used been used. And then your chords that you had there, used been used, just switching the baritone and the lead on those last two, been used. And I'm still bothered by that octave E there. Is that is that supposed to be a C natural and a C sharp there on your bin?
Should I think a C sharp because it's a diminished chord, isn't it?
Okay,
So it was meant to be a C sharp.
would you play that? I
on
never had
Ben?
it.
Okay,
Yeah, just
I
play
never
it
had
because
it
maybe
then.
I'm not hearing that right.
No, I think you are hearing it right. That's going too fast. Let's do it again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
very much. Thank you. very much.
That ain't been used. Is that what it did? Or is that?
EG to EG. Oh, yeah.
I guess it could be either. It could be either.
Yeah.
It depends what kind of
And
flavor you want.
Yeah, I think you could play with that a little more, and come up with something a little, good idea, but make the melody used and used, been used. Let the other parts do, and you know what? You don't even need like the first chord, used, been used or something, I don't know, used that ain't been used.
Oh.
I think it's I never had a thing that ain't been used, that ain't been used. Probably when we echo it, we wouldn't want to say the exact same words. We want to change them a little bit, right? Thing that ain't been used, or that ain't been used, or something, but not that ain't been used, right?
Mhm.
Or, yeah. I want brand news. No, never mind.
I paid my dues.
Yeah. You know, when we were in Naples, we went to visit those, supposed to be those high test stores where they have all the really, really expensive clothes that have been used gently, as they say, right? And I went into some of them and I went like, well, they must have been really something, because the sale price on them is $60 for a blouse. So
Oh,
God
geez.
only knows what they must have been then. But then they had a big sign that said everything is 50% off. So
Ah,
I found a couple things that ended up being not very much, but I just had to go in there and see what those people were doing that went to find those things. Just for the fun of it, you know? Yeah. Anyway, okay, that's good. I think that everybody had some good things. Could we take one more quick look at Donna's? Because we
Yes.
only did the first part of Donna's, and I
Okay.
want to look at the rest of it.
all right. Hold on a second here.
You guys have such cool things. You're all doing such great things. Okay.
Ooh. Back to Donna.
Isn't it still, who's this? Yeah.
There she is. Okay. There we are. All right, we're gonna play through this, or what are we doing here?
We didn't play the whole thing, did we, Donna?
No,
Okay, let's play the whole thing.
All right. Oh, shoot, here we go again. Hold on. Let me fix it here. Come on, get out of the way there. Shoot. Keyboards. Oh, I know why. Let me go up here first. There we go. There we go. Okay. All right. Oh, shoot, there's the chords again. Hold on. Take the chords out of there now that I know the quick way to do it. Yay!
Unclick.
Woo!
Excited about that. All right, here we go again.
Yeah, cool little ending there. Good. Okay, so we've already discussed a lot of those things, Donna. We did at the top. And
Right.
we already know
Right.
about those. Let's take a look at some of the things that you did that were just a little different. On measure 5, you decided to put the bass on the F sharp.
Oh, we have two F sharps here.
Yeah, I mean, but on, and the first two, she had the bass on the D, and now she changed it to an F sharp, and I wondered why, what you're thinking.
I think that's probably, well, okay, so the lead is on the low A.
Mhm.
I guess I was trying to avoid using the low D, although I don't remember why, because I've got it elsewhere. So I think that was just a mistake.
Maybe it was just a
Well, you
typo,
could,
maybe.
maybe you're just trying something and saying which of these is the strongest to do, and I think now you know probably that F sharp on the downbeat, the first beat of
Right,
a,
right, that, I just messed that up.
that's
Shouldn't be
okay.
that way.
I just thought maybe you were trying to be, you know, wanted, I didn't know, but I don't want to presume anything and see what somebody's thinking was there. Even things I'm wearing, someone wore before, and we've talked about that leap up there, you know, probably just good, just revoice that someone wore before. So that,
Okay,
yeah, you know, and it's no wonder how I feel abused. I like your little abused. It sounds very much like abused.
and I purposely, I switched the score, the other score had it as a eighth note dotted quarter, and I felt like we needed to hold abused longer and abuse. So I switched the dotted quarter in the eighth
Perfect.
order.
Yeah. That's more conversational, and anytime we can make our manuscripts more conversational, that's the new right.
Exactly.
You know, the old right is very, you know, in like stuff in our apartment, you know, stuff in our apartment. If we can make those changes so it's more conversational, it's easier for our singers than if we
Right.
just, you know, good. And then I never had a thing that was good that ain't been that. I think the only problem that you have maybe in that line is maybe your little last ain't could be better as a B, don't you think? Thing that, again, the baritone that pops out, never had a thing that ain't been, never had a thing that ain't been. Keep
Take
it-
the baritone down. Is that
Yeah,
what you're saying?
so anytime you have something that's gonna, a baritone in that, when it starts going, there's certain places where it will pop, you know? And it, particularly in this one, you are below the lead, never had a thing that ain't, and all of a sudden it pops up and it's confusing, you know, it doesn't, you had to keep it above on that, then you need to pop back down again. Yeah.
Okay,
Ain't been,
okay.
and then use that ain't been. I love that. That ain't been. Now the last chord, what could we do?
Well, and I thought you'd probably fuss about in that whole slide, all three parts are moving down together, and I tried and tried to.
That's
Well,
okay.
but that, there you go. Thank you for saying, everything moved down a half step,
Right.
a half step. That's a very doable thing for parts. They get,
Mhm.
they got, da, da, da,
Okay.
da, da, da. That's a very good, we can do that. That makes sense. It doesn't work well when they're moving a fourth.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know, but the half step is good. So the very last chord now, use, I just, if it somehow just didn't want to end there, I wanted it to end differently.
Right. I didn't like that either, but I didn't know where to go with it.
Use or something. Use.
So if the, again, if the melody could go, you, that would be an okay melody line.
You cut out. I didn't hear your last thing.
I just was saying, if the, make the melody go to an E, and on that last,
Oh, okay.
and then have a baritone that ain't being used, and go back to the G. And then you'd have a nice A7 chord that leads you into the next thing that didn't sound hollow. Yeah. That may not be perfect yet. Use. Anyway, somehow make that so that it didn't just like fall out of the sky. I don't
Okay.
know. I'm not sure what to do with that, but that may not have been the right choice, but it's a great idea. I love that. That ain't been, and then we just have to figure out a good last chord.
That
Yeah.
ain't.
Anybody have an idea?
Yes, I had to. Instead of going da 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 da, that ain't been used. That ain't been used. That ain't been used.
Oh, sure. Just turn them around and says that ain't been used. That
Yeah.
ain't been used. Chord,
In the reverse order.
Yeah.
Okay.
and then the
I
bass.
used this chord over here.
Used,
Yeah.
and then the bass ends up on an E. There
Yeah.
you go. And then the lead didn't have to change. Yeah,
Yep.
that would be good. But
Okay.
yeah, good flavorful things. You guys each had some really interesting flavoring things, and it's good to come up with other chords that can flavor things up instead of exactly that. You know, we stay with the implied harmony, but things we do in between those things, we can, we've heard some good examples tonight.
Juicier
So,
chords, yeah.
yeah, and you know, if it goes a little modern, we're not gonna tell anybody, maybe.
Well, I might.
Do- No, anyway, that's great. You guys are doing so great, and Jean and I are gonna try and get our lives together here. And
Yes.
little
I feel
better.
badly about that tonight, but
you,
next time will be better.
you have, no, well, you know, hey, I get my troubles too, so. All right, you guys,
Ladies,
yes.
Can- I don't think that we went through measure 9 through all of my arrangement either.
Okay.
Would you mind quickly just looking at it and just telling me if I did anything glaringly wrong?
Okay,
Oh,
so
I'm sorry,
I don't have my pictures on, so who just said that?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth Frank.
Oh, okay.
Elizabeth Frank.
All right, let me find it again.
Sorry, I didn't realize. I do remember that now.
Oh,
that we were
shoot,
talking.
that's the wrong one.
That's the one at number 5 at the bottom,
Oh, there we go, there it is, okay,
right there. Yeah.
okay.
Okay,
I know it's asking you to take more time, but
No, no,
I'm
no, no, no.
curious if I did anything terribly wrong.
oh,
So
I
now,
bet it was awful.
now, what measure were you asking about?
Well, we only went through like, I think we only went through measure 4 in my
Oh,
arrangement.
okay.
I'm not sure.
All right, we're just gonna play the whole thing again. Let's
Okay,
see what that.
yeah, sure.
It'll catch up in a minute. Ah, nice, Ethan.
Good job. Yeah. So nice. You're doing some very nice. I remember when we talked about the other things up above, and then it repeated, so you'd know what that.
Right.
And everything I'm wearing, someone wore before, and you had a different chords in there. I think they're very nice. Some good alternative chords. Someone wore before.
Mhm.
Well, I was trying to lead into that E minor. I was trying to go smoothly from the A to the E minor and the 5th. You know, I took, that's why I did the B7 there.
It does
Yeah,
lead nicely.
Yeah, and you did lead into that, so it didn't just start and stop, but you went into the next thing. Good job. It's no wonder.
I specifically wanted to ask, what do you think of my baseline? Is that okay, or is that not good?
Funny
Is that
that you say that. I was just gonna say something about your baseline.
Am I getting a little modern there?
Um,
Challenging. Yeah. Let's see. Let's play that part again. So you have the bass on the 7th right here. And usually if the bass is going to be on the 7th of the chord, it's because it's doing a passing thing. Like or but that's not the case there. So
That's not passing there, okay.
right. So that makes that kind of weak,
Okay.
weak sounding right there.
Had it been on the no, would it be passing?
Well,
Because it's on the upbeat as opposed to the downbeat?
no, it has to do with the chords before it and the chord after it is what makes it a passing thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if it was on no, that would work for there, but not for there. You know what I mean? Let's see. I think there'd be a better pieces to hear, and it's going to be hard for them to tune that accurately.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, what's the matter there? I'm okay. All right. My thing's saying my headphone is changing. What? Okay.
I would be, it's adventurous, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it, Elizabeth. It's not a traditional bass line, but it's not. It's no wonder and I feel abused. I mean, that's not bad. It is on the 7th, and you put it right next to that baritone for that major second. It's odd. What's more troubling to me is where it put the tenor. It's no wonder if I feel love.
Oh, that one's yeah.
That tenor, feel abused on that B to the F sharp. Yeah, that's more troubling than feel abused. So the B, if the B were the tenor note on and the bass,
On the A?
yeah, feel, I don't know that would fix it. I'm just saying that I would find something to do besides the tritone for the tenors on feel abused. And then you had, and even though feel abused, you're on your repeat, feel abused, is cool. Maybe just the bass, oh, what's wrong here? I can't say. I might feel abused, and so I feel abused. That's gonna be real hard for them to sing in a quick note, to sing that tritone on feel, and let the other parts feel abused, feel the baritones and the tenors can do it. Do you hear it? The feel abused is like that. That's a very difficult. Yeah, it didn't really give you much for that, but and then I never had a thing. I think you can find something. Maybe the thing can come back to be on. Never had a thing that ain't been used. It never had a thing that ain't been used. It's too boring. It never had a thing that ain't been used. Sounds more like the bass line, does it? Pop that bass back up to the B.
Okay.
Yeah. And everything else was fine. Yeah. Yeah. Never had a thing. Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah,
then we have a problem with
ain't
it.
been used instead
Yeah.
of ain't been used. I was just leading the baritone there. So they're not ending on the 7th. ain't been used. Ain't been used. Because when Judy talked about, I'm a lead, I'm not singing a 7. There it is.
Right.
You can flip the lead in the baritone right there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think on measure 12, I would leave out the that altogether and let the bass stand be used, ain't been used, use that, ain't been used. It's unnecessary for everybody to leap up to that used, ain't, right? Just leave
Ah.
out that chord altogether.
Yeah.
We need some continuity and some solidity in it. Everything that ain't been used, ain't been used. There's a little problem with your, that ain't been used. And it's a little tough for the tenors, but it's not probably terrible, but been used. There's not much place for them to go. So never anything that ain't been used. If you could do something with the bin chord so that the tenors didn't stay on G sharp for the whole life, because they were going, yeah.
Over here, I'm looking at this bed music over here.
Of course, they're probably going to be happy to go to that C sharp after singing G sharp 8 times. So
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So I would do something with the bin chord.
Mhm.
Take the tenors up, and if you left the bass down in the E, never had a thing that ain't been used. Leave the bass on a E on bin,
Mhm.
yeah, and let the tenors go up to the B, and then probably have another problem now that I've said that, but it might be an improvement. Just trying to save a tenor's life.
Oh, didn't line up, but that's okay. Let's see. I think that works. Just didn't line up right. G.
Well, anyway, it may have a little more promise that way,
Mhm.
possibly. But again, we're problem solving, so we look at that and go, I don't know, did that help, or did I?
Did she mess it up more? Who knows?
Yeah. Never had a thing that ain't been used. That works. Never had a thing that ain't been used. That works. Never had a thing that ain't been used. That works. If the chords work together, it's really good. The parts can sing well. Whether or not they all sing well together, we don't know. No, I think they would. It generally, if it hasn't sound like it was and didn't, never had a thing that ain't been, you know, that might help it. Yeah, but you've got some really inventive things. Everybody did. So proud of you guys. Awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
Now, the fact that everybody's moving up from the last chord, from that E9 to the A7, everybody's going up. Is
Yep.
that a problem?
No, they're not all going up.
They're not?
Yes,
Oh,
right
from the
here.
E, I'm sorry, it's like from
Yeah,
the
from the
E9 to
E9.
the A7. I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a problem?
Well, it's not the worst thing. It's not like they moved out of town. They just went next door. You know? It's not, you know what I mean? It's not like a great departure from everything. It's like, been used. It didn't sound, that's why
wrong
in the original, why that ain't been used, why they did that and everybody moved that way, which was left another problem for us, didn't it?
Mhm.
So it's a matter of what's the lesser of the evils, perhaps, if you will,
And
or
somebody needs a G sharp in there. What was there before? Because now that's not a right chord. I can't change the melody. G sharp. Oh, we need to have the G sharp in there.
I had the same voicing as you see at the beginning of measure 11. Originally,
Yeah,
that's what I had there.
yeah. You can't do this right here because you need to have a G sharp somewhere.
And we do, when I just played it just now, I thought, oh yeah, that's something's missing there, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the G sharp.
Yeah,
So
it is.
Yeah, You can't have the root and the fifth in this chord when it's
No,
this.
that's
Right. That's the problem, yeah.
You're
Yeah.
completely right. I was trying to help something along and it sang, that's why I said it sang all right by itself, but it didn't sing together. Because we just got, we need the baritones on a G sharp and the tenor on the D,
Yeah, and then that's. all
which is what,
done.
yeah.
Yeah.
So as awkward as it was, never had a thing that ain't been used is what it needs, isn't it? And the baritones, never had a thing that ain't been, or thing that ain't been. Yeah, it needs to go, everything needs to go up that ain't been. Yeah, and I think somebody had that on there, so they had it, you guys had it fixed. So, okay, good.
Okay.
Anyway, we know that we had some problems with that, and I think somebody fixed it. I can't remember who did. I think probably 2 or 3 people did. All right, so.
Thank you for looking at it.
You
Thank you.
bet. Absolutely good stuff. Everybody, good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
You guys are
um,
very creative.
yeah, you guys are great.
You have very creative ideas, and now you just need to learn how to put the creative ideas into the barbershop mold. Yeah.
Into the part singing mold, easier part singing and voice leading. It's all about voice leading, isn't it? Okay, ladies, sounds good. We'll see you soon.
So
Did-
thanks
did
for
you- you
hanging
just-
in.
You just said, Judy, it's all about voicing, or is it all about leading? It's both, right?
Voice leading. she said.
Voice leading,
Yeah,
Yeah.
voice leading.
She
Okay.
was
Yeah,
cutting in
voice
and out,
leading.
yeah.
going
Yeah.
from here to there and how your voice part sings and yeah, right.
Yeah.
And Judy and Jean, we hope that you both get better situations going in your lives.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
We really
appreciate
appreciate you being here.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Well, we
Yes,
appreciate
thank you a lot.
guys. It's great fun for us. I've now put it in my thing is I used to try and spell it out and I just put tea leap. It takes too much space on the calendar to put tertiary, so I just put
Yes.
tea leap. And I
Oh, okay. I was like, what? Okay.
tea leap. Yeah, it's like tea leaves.
Perfect.
Yeah, you guys.
Good.
The
Okay.
leapers
All
are
right.
here. That's right.
We'll stay connected here and see what's going on and we'll let you know if there's anything. I'll let you know when I'm gonna have my surgery so you can all.
Thank you.
Yes, please let us
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
So is
okay.
everybody competing in April? I don't know.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Good luck.
Yeah, we
Good
are.
luck,
No.
everybody.
Yes.
Good luck.
We are.
It's gonna be
Yep.
different world
Australia's
this
not
year.
competing, right?
I
Yeah,
don't
we
know.
are.
No, I said Australia isn't.
Australia is, they're doing video
video.
poses.
Okay.
Our chorus, we had our first in-person meeting last week since last June.
Oh my
So
God.
we're not competing.
My God.
Aw,
Oh, wow.
my.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough.
And Abigail, is New Zealand competing?
Video.
Video? Okay.
Yep.
And Elizabeth, what about you?
Yes, we are competing
You live? Yeah. Region
Live.
9 is live. Yay.
in Bakersfield. Yeah.
Now,
Mhm.
Judy, what about your region?
Yeah, we're live in my hometown, first time in 22 years. So
Ooh.
it's my swan
Yay.
song and in our hometown and
Oh,
we get
that's
to be the
cool.
last competitor, which is always fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
Yay.
So I'm very excited about that and hopefully I told him just don't put me down for radiation that week. I do not want
Yeah.
radiation on the week of contest, please.
Really? Yeah.
Move it one side or the other. So, but anyway, they have yeah, so it's coming along pretty well. I feel sorry for the people here. I don't know how it is in your, but like our gas is almost up to $5. I'm
Oh my
feeling
God.
so bad because our region is like, huge. Probably not
Huge.
as big as Australia.
Mhm.
But in the States, it's the biggest region geographically. So
Oh,
some of them are going like, 12 hours at $5 a gallon.
ouch. Ouch.
That's the problem in Australia. It's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, because Australia is like, yeah, huge.
Hmm.
So
I paid $6 a gallon just before I clicked in.
Oh my
oh,
gosh.
6.
Oh,
6.
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
6. And in Los Angeles, there's one station that it was over 7.
Oh, my gosh.
I think in Australia we're at $8.
Are you?
Holy
Oh my
moly.
gosh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh.
Ours is over $3 a liter, but I don't know if that is in gallons.
No, I don't have a.
A
clue.
liter's somewhere around a half gallon.
Mm.
So it's in the $6
Oh, so we-
neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it's going up.
I guess I
Mm.
won't complain about
It's
ours,
crazy.
Donna. We're just
Mm.
four
Right.
30
Hooray
cents.
for
Sounds
Zoom.
good.
Zoom's feeling better and better, isn't it? Zoom
It
isn't so
is.
bad.
Unfortunately.
I was
Yeah.
figure, I was figure, if it helps Ukraine, I'm happy to pay it. You know, I don't know if that's part of what's happening or not. I don't know,
Mm.
but anyway,
Mm.
Yeah,
That's
terrible.
Yep.
Mm.
All
unbelievable.
right, everybody take care.
Yes,
Right.
everybody take care.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
Take care
everybody.
of each other.
Let us
Okay,
know when
thank
your
you.
contests are so we can be looking for you on video or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would
If
be
they, or
good.
maybe they're not gonna do the things this year, I suppose.
Well, I don't know, like in our region 17,
Premium?
they're doing a video, but they opted to, they're not going to post the scores, and they're having a watch party the week after competition, and the video is going to do the announcements and everything. It's like,
Oh.
oh, that'd be so hard to wait a week. I don't know. So
There
that'll
you
be
go.
interesting.
Okay.
Judy, is your quartet going to perform? Are you going to compete in a
We
quartet?
are. Voca Dakota is going to compete.
Voca Dakota. And what part do you sing again?
Well, I sing tenor because it's the only, I wanted to sing lead, but we had a good lead. I want to sing bass, but we had a good bass. I want to sing baritone, and I wrestled her for it and she won. And so I'm singing that. And I, you know, which is like the least important thing to be doing in the quartet, because, you know, the coach comes and works with the lead and the bass, and the lead and the bass, the lead and the bass, then they had the baritone, and finally it's like, I'll phone it in. No, but I like singing tenor. It's just, I really kind of didn't want to sing tenor for my last thing, but I'm happy to sing tenor. That's okay.
Yay! All right. We will cheer
Yeah.
for everybody. All right.
Yep, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, you guys.
All right.
Easy.
All right,
Good night,
take care,
everybody.
everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
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 Oh, I thought I clicked leave.